Okay. So that was kind of the screen that Steve was looking at. Good morning, everybody. We got a good number of folks coming on board. We got 2 minutes to launch time. The countdown has started. Yeah, now keep in mind today, and we'll mention this more than once, I'm sure, but we're going to actually have two separate groups. Last time we did a session on Wednesday and Saturday mornings, with a few exceptions if there was a conflict, like with the corporate meeting, et cetera. Uh, but we're basically now, and that was the same program, different people on Wednesday and Saturday mornings, but we did the same program. Well, that initial program, we're going to repeat that with a few tweaks and such. But we're also going to have an advanced session group, if you will, separate group, and we're going to do the first, let's say, coaching one, BPR coaching one, version one, which would be what we did last time. For people that want to be in that program, that's going to be on Tuesdays from 10 to 12 noon. Each session is recorded and posted. In fact, we actually have most of the sessions from our last program. I think there's one missing, perhaps, that are posted already to the coaching website on VPR Central. So you can actually go there and watch the whole session again. There's also homework assignments, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to go through that as far as how you register and get involved in the coaching. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the advanced will be on Wednesdays. We're going to do a few other different aspects and throw in some additional information. And by the way, you can be, registered in one and view the other two. So you're welcome to jump in on some of the sessions, even if you're not in that particular group that we're doing the contest for instance, and you weren't, you've taking this basic program for the first time, and you might want to take a couple of the sessions and jump in on that and pay attention there. If you have time to do that, that's great. Again, you know, I think the key word there is success. Uh, the key is, and we're going to talk about this week as we get into what your goals and our goals should be the same, so to speak, right? We all want to be on the same program, on the same path, and the key of this is you defining what is success for you. And one of the neat things about Virtual Properties Realty is that's the type of organization we are. That's the type of real estate brokerage we are. We don't we don't put a number on people, so to speak. We don't say, hey, we expect this much minimal production or however it's presented, right? And it's really up to you to set your goals. And it's really up to you to define what success is to you. And that's an important first step, I guess, of this type of program and coaching. When it comes right down to it, is we really do want to encourage you, show you how, explain how, if you will, uh, to set goals when it comes to business. I'm not a life coach, that's for sure. I probably could use a lot of coaching myself in a lot of areas of life when it comes down to it. But when it comes down to it, what we're sharing with everybody is you know is is real estate knowledge and how to be successful in business and in sales. And if you really kind of anticipate what we might be uh, getting involved with. And I'm just looking here at the notes here real quick as we get started, and I think Steve will be joining us. Steve, chime in if you come on board here. But anyway, a couple questions on Jumpstart. Well, again, uh, and let me just put it this way: if you haven't done the coaching program in the past, we're really encouraging you to be in the Tuesday group. If you can't make the Tuesday group, there's nothing wrong with going into the advanced coaching. if when you can, and move back and forth. So, keep it open-minded. We will be starting one again next quarter. Uh, I would say I'd be encouraging everybody to do it now. This is a great time to get a head start, as a matter of fact. So, um, eh, how's everybody doing? If you want to, I'm respecting everybody. That sounds like everybody's got themselves muted. When we'll get some feedback here going in a minute or two. So I think everybody's finally getting on board here. We got a good group here. And again, I'm Mike Collard. I think most of you know me. Steve and I have put this program together. I'll let Steve just say a little bit about himself because, when it comes down to it, Steve asked me to join on, uh, do this type of program for the company when we talked a while back, actually a couple 3 years ago, putting some things together to help the company grow. And just FYI, uh, I originally got my license in 1988, which was probably just a year or two before I think Steve and his mom did. I was with Remax also, and I did it part time for a couple of years, and turns out I was in sales, and I had been in sales management with another business with Rollins Protective Services in the alarm business, and I had been taught some very good sales skills by that organization when I was that was in 1982. Okay, so just to give you a perspective, that was a while back, and it's really amazing that the same type of skills that were taught back then are really being taught nowadays to successful sales organizations and salespeople across the world in many businesses because it's really based on uh, relationships. Let's just put it that way. It's a relationship type of sales approach that's been taught, referral based, database, if you will, relationship based sales and success and business way of doing business. And again, people like to be served well. And if you can serve people well and do it in a nice way and, perform at a high level, be an expert in your business, become a real expert in your business. So let's just put it that way. And that includes being able to communicate, and communication skills. I think you'll find is a very big part of what we do when it comes to being successful. Um, I was fortunate when I joined Remax. I went full time Remax at the beginning of '95, and up until 2009 or so, I produced about I had 40 closed 40 to 70 transactions a year. Was in the Remax Platinum Club and all that stuff. Then they came out with the chairman. I never got up to 500,000. That was the chairman's award. But I also got into training. Well, I took a lot of courses. I took a lot of training. I was in my 40s and 50s or whatever, 60s. As I got older. But I always enjoyed getting some coaching and some training. And I was part of Joe Stump's by referral only for a while. I did Mike Ferrier and some of his stuff for a while. And then I did take Mark Leader's Choice program in 2001. Now, mindful at that time, I was already producing or making over 250 a year. Platinum Club, probably 40, 50, 60 closings a year. But my wife always encouraged me to get more training, and she thought I could get better, and she enjoyed it. So we'd always go to these seminars, and I took the Leader's Choice seminar, introductory seminar, excuse me, and they were charging in those days. I think it was $795, or it was either $795 or $890. I think it was $795 to take the course, and my wife wanted to take it with me, but when she saw that it was $795 each, uh, she she decided that maybe I should just take it. But anyway, I took the course, and I took it through November and December and into January. It was 9 sessions after the introductory session, and I had 43 transactions. What we counted as transactions was listings, buyer and seller listings or agency agreements, and under contracts, something that you put under contract. And I had, I think, 28 listings, and I had 15 under contract. That was in November, January, November, December, January, which a lot of people would consider a slow time of the year. So after that, after the class, and I was walking away with all the plaques and all that stuff, I had a conversation with Mark, and he said they were looking for trainers. If I was interested, and I asked them if they were interested because I had done that back at Rollins as a sales manager. I got promoted to national sales manager, national sales training manager after growing, after being a successful salesperson and sales manager. So I got a lot of salespeople, sales, personal sales, and sales management background, I guess is what I'm trying to explain to you. And really what it comes down to, sales management is having in real estate is being self-managing yourself and being able to set specific goals and define that in the strategies and then action plans that will make you successful. So it's there is no secret sauce except build relationships, keep the relationship strong, develop your skills to the highest level, set realistic goals, smart goals, okay, measurable, attainable. Uh, Reward yourself. Have some fun. enjoy enjoy the journey, and if you really work on those things, again, goals, strategy, action. What's your goal? What's your strategic plan? What's your strategy to attain that goal? How are you going to go about that? For instance, let's say you wanted to make $200,000 a year. How many closings is that? Well, it's probably somewhere around 20 to 25, right? Average commission $8 to $10,000. If you average 10,000, you do 20 closings. That's two a month, right? What is two a month? I mean, 16,000 a month gross, 15, 16,000. I mean, just some of you may be making that already, but think about that. Feel that for a minute, right? So, how am I going to do that? Well, if you're like Yvonne and Lori or whoever who had all those listings, right? If you're signing up an agency a week, I would think at least half of those would end up buying or selling. Tell me if I'm wrong. So, what could be the strategy? Well, I want to bring in some listings because with listings comes buyers too. Sometimes buyers for that listing, sometimes that seller becomes a buyer, et cetera, et cetera. And there are challenges today, by the way. It ain't so easy to buy a house sometimes. There's multiple offers coming in. So, in other words, we have services. Hey, Steve, there you are. We have services that we can provide that they can't do for themselves. When you think about it, it's a challenge. Multiple offers. How do you work that whole strategy out? Make it work for you. Actually close the sale. Then, when you're buying on the other side, what strategy are you going to take? What approach are you going to take? You know, you think about it, how difficult it is when multiple offers are coming in and you have a contingency situation with your seller. You're helping them buy a house. They have to sell their house first before they can close, if that's the case. How do you position that? How do you work that? How if they're trying to do it for sale by owner, they got to go through all that by themselves. If they were listed before and they couldn't get it sold, if they realize how much uh, opportunity they have right now in the marketplace to actually sell their house for top dollar and save a lot of money because of the low interest rates when they do buy that next residence, whether they're moving up, down, out, in, whatever direction they're going. Again, being an expert in your field, I think, is a key. So this whole coaching thing, uh, I like I say, I've been doing it for a while. Steve has got a lot of great knowledge and experience himself. We've brought in a lot of other expertise from other people that we'll be using, as guides of what the masters, if you will, of sales, of relationships, of the sales skills and the processes that are necessary. But in particular, especially in the, you know, in virtual properties, whether you're in the basic or the advanced, if you will, coaching program, whichever way you go. You know, there's so many tools that we have in virtual properties to take advantage of. Again, we're going to re-accentuate that, similar to what Steve's been doing on the masterminds. You know, we want to have a great knowledge of how we can present ourselves in today's market, how we can compete with what's out there on the marketplace. I mean, we have competition. We have people, you know who I'm talking about, and they're doing it all kinds of different ways, trying to garner the business. Zillow's going into the market. They're going to be hiring people to go out there and get listings. They want to. Why do all these people want to buy to sell things? Why? Because they know that's where the money is, right? So you know, you've got to be able to compete, and we have the bridge, and we have the iBuyer, and we have the lease purchase depot, and we have the luxury properties, and we have the commercial. We have all these advantages, if you will, that a lot of agents, even if they had them to their disposal, may not know how to present them and use them properly. Okay, so you know we all have the same tools. It's who is the who can manage and work that tool at a higher level of productivity than somebody else. So you know we're in competition. This again, uh, I can't overemphasize how important it is and how wonderful and beneficial it is to be with an organization like Virtual Properties that offers coaching, mentoring, training, services, technology, one-on-one opportunities with brokers and experts, resources being brought into the company. Uh, you know, I have to admit, we didn't get that at Remax. What Remax had going for it was the top agents went there because they could get on 100% commission and only have to pay $1,000 a month. Okay, so you know the opportunity in virtual, I have to shake my head. 295 a month, you could be on 100%. 295 a month and $50 a month. You could be a realtor, have access to all this technology free this, free that, coaching, masterminds, training, CE, experts from all through the business. And it's like, I got to shake my head because nobody historically has offered that as one organization to the results and the effect. And the results are significant. Our growth has been phenomenal thanks to you guys, right? Good people like you, good realtors like you that really want to do their job as best they can, give great service to the public, have raised our bar, right? We're growing agent wise thanks to many of you, and the ambassador program is a great thing to take advantage of. But if you know, we grow 10% in agents a year, 10, 12%. But over the last 3 to 4 years, we've grown 30 to 35% in production. Now, we haven't seen the numbers for this year, but last year we did 11,517 transactions. That was up from 9,200 the year before. You do the math, that's over 30% increase. The year before that, it was only 7,200. We went up to 9,100. So from 72 to 91 on a basis of seven, an increase of two, that's another 30%. And you go back to the year before that, we did like about 6,000. We went up to, so each year our productivity per agent, that's my point, is increasing. And that's because you guys are doing a better job. And part of that, I believe, is what Steve and Karen and Jamie and the management of this company continues to put together to offer and to offer. Okay, so I was at Remax making 100%, paying $1,000 a month. If I wanted to take training, I had to pay out of pocket. I had to pay for Joe Stump. I had to pay for Mike Ferry. I had to pay for Mark Leader. You follow what I'm saying? And guess what? The top agents there were doing that. Okay? The Brian Fairs of the world, the Mark Spains before he left Remax, you know, and his dad, and you know, you name it. That's what they were doing. The Mary Kings and the people that I was around, some of the original top producers in the marketplace, Michael Shirley was another one of them, Marcus Shirley, those guys, right? They paid for all that stuff. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, but I think it's really wonderful that Steve has put this together. Steve, if you'd like to chime in, I appreciate it. If you want to say good morning to everybody.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
All right.
Wagner, Mike and I created this program. You're going to love it. Been in business 1989, and I won't go through all that, but there's some things that we seek to try to accomplish in this coaching program. Number one, we're going to give you amazing direction, and you're going to do it. Not to say we're going to do a lot of this stuff. In all honesty, we're just going to ignite you to do the following 5 things. Number one, we create direction. We have goals. You got to have goals. Within the next week or so, we want ironclad goals. We got all the tools to help you do that. We're just going to have to ask you to do it. And we're going to be there to help you along the way. Because last time with Mike, some of the people didn't really have goals. 3 or so weeks into it, we kind of had to force them. We're going to break that down to business plans. And so you'll know exactly what you have to do. Second thing, we want to motivate you. A lot of people always want it. They have goals, they have plans, but they just don't get it done. So we have a lot of techniques, including I saw our great partner, Wendell Couch, chimed in there. He's been very gracious. He's been gracious completely, with all the classes, but they're a sponsor in our coaching program, and we're going to be giving out cash prizes. We're going to be giving out cash prizes to people like Lori in the next day or so, if I can get my staff to start cutting these checks. So we're going to pay you to basically make money, to do the things that you need to be doing to make money. So I'm excited about that, but that's not just where the motivation comes. First thing that Mike does every time we log in and we look at these dashboards, which we're going to show you some in a second, very graphical, interactive dashboards. You'll be able to see your picture, your name, the production. Trust me, it's a motivator. When you know you're going to check in, here's the thing. Nobody that's on the bottom really gets noticed. And so you're not going to be shamed. There's no shame in this, but there is glory. There is, there is that pride of checking in and seeing this week, my name is at the top. And so that's part of the motivation. We have Mike and I really have like 7 or 8 ways to try to motivate you to do things you probably wouldn't do quite as much if you were just left alone out there. And that's what this is about. We don't want you. We got plenty of agents who are succeeding on their own, but we want to be with you and we want to try to inspire you in any way we possibly can. Mike and I sat down for 2 hours and thought of additional ways. We're going to have t-shirts printed. The top 20 participants, maybe even more than that, will get these really cool t-shirts to say you're a graduate of the coaching program. That's new in this quarter 4. We're going to have more like medals. We didn't offer that last time. We're going to have medals when you win. So many, I won't go through all but you'll by the end, you'll see all the ways that we're motivating you to go that little bit extra, to do that extra call, to do that extra this and that. Like I said, you'll have all the direction, the goals, the planning. Discipline is something that we're going to, try to squeeze out of you a little bit. But again, I can't, we can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. You're going to have to, to rise up and help us out on that as well. That's why you can't move. Then there's going to be methods. Gets Chris there muted there. Methods, strategies, and techniques. That's what we're going to hone in on a lot. Is that's part of that's breaking down the plan to methods, strategies, and techniques, and then we're going to hone these in, practice these, really get down. Everything starts simple. So you'll see this coaching program is based on very simple concepts, but it really isn't that simple. So as this is a marathon from here until the end of the year. That's this coaching program. Just inch by inch, life's a cinch, little by little becomes a lot. By the end of the quarter, I've got, again, my son, Evan Wagner, is here. He just got his license, and I'm excited about the development, the transformation that he's going to undergo between now and the end of the year in this program. And and then you'll just be better trained, you'll gain skill, you'll gain knowledge. So you'll be a different person at the end. And I'm convinced everybody that just kind of, stays awake and gives, really hones in and tries their best to maximize it. Whatever you would have been at the end of this quarter, you're going to be just a little bit that much more. And that's kind of the program. Mike is gonna, he's the leader of this program. Kind of, we architect this thing together. I'll make some cameo appearances, especially in some videos and stuff like that. But I think we're going to kind of try to blow through our PowerPoint. But I might let Wendell say something now. Wendell Couch from Homestar, since they're one of our big sponsors there.
Morning, Steve. First, let me thank you for letting us be a part of this, Mike and Steve. It's our privilege. There's nothing more exciting to see people do bigger things than they thought they were capable of. We would still be in horse and buggy, or we'd still be looking at the moon at night instead of landing on it. And I always tell my folks, when you see ordinary people doing extraordinary things, you always have to ask yourself, why not me? And they're no different. We're just people. They're doing things. And you agents out there, there see 78 participants. Just the fact that you are participating means you've already taken the step to be more successful than you probably would have ever dreamed of being. I met with my staff yesterday, and to be a leader like Steve is to your group, we kind of bloviate sometimes in people's mind by saying, got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But we're just not talking. These are time-proven, successful techniques that work. To have a gentleman like Mike Collard with years of experience and training, and then to look back at the people that have trained and been through this, I just you guys are already winners just by showing up. And in the mortgage side, the teamwork we can have together, Steve, and what I want to make a commitment to you folks here, some that are active agents or just getting into it, is last week I had a broker call and say, we've been working on a Homestar problem for 2 weeks. I went, wait, what? 2 weeks? So I want to reiterate, Steve, if anybody has a Homestar loan, if it doesn't feel, taste, or smell right, call the broker, they call me. And that's our commitment that I made to Steve Wagner 4 years ago when we
what do you need?
Yeah, good.
We need money.
The money, good. Are we doing drawings today, or is that later? I'm so drawing addicted, I don't know what to do.
That's a good wake-up call there.
Yeah, that was a good one. Scared me. But anyway, Steve, thanks for letting us be part of this. And Mike, if I'll stay on, and if you have mortgage questions, I can do that. But we have 200 loan officers, and we lead salespeople every day. We don't have quite as many folks as you do, but it is just really tough to be in this world of sales and service to others. And I always think about the bedroom that I'm financing for a child and work backwards. That helps me out a lot when I get weary, because you can get weary in this industry. You can get tired. You can grow weary. Like Good Book says, never grow weary in doing what's good. So we're all excited about that.
By the end of this quarter, I absolutely and positively want everyone in this call right here to have their affiliate team set up, and I have a form for that. Now, you can do it digitally, you can do an old school form, but I have an old school PDF form that we will launch as part of your homework. And obviously you need, a strong lender like your right hand. Again, we got to be careful with just, completely saying railroading everyone to our one person, but generally agents do have their one person. They have to get the same thing with the closing attorney and several other affiliates. But one of the things that Mike and I changed, the points are going to be slightly different. And I think it was Delana. She gave me an idea when I was listening to her about how she really works with her lender, and that was, she felt like we should have points giving it. And I'm not saying it has to be Homestar, though I don't know why you wouldn't go with the number one lender in the state of Georgia that's really flexible. But and Wendell will, and that's one thing, he's here. So if you need, if you're looking for a specific type of lender, speaks languages, male, female, age, whatever, I mean, you can talk to him and he can try to find someone that you feel like you can click with, because he has, he's like us. We are very diverse in age and every way you can be diverse.
Steve, let me interject one thing too, Wendell. Again, I can't overemphasize what Steve has just said and how important it is to have a great relationship with a great mortgage company that gives great customer service. It will pay off tremendously in your career. And Wendell, right now, we're going to be doing, two programs. One was a little more advanced. Maybe this is in advance, but if you were talking to these 80 people here saying, here's what I would advise when you're writing an offer. Here's how many days I would advise for financing approval, and here's how many days at least I would advise for appraisal contingency. What would you say to that question?
Well, internally, the way we're structured, let me say this about a mortgage relationship. This is not use Homestar. My commitment to you guys is to be here as a resource. We have to earn your business. We have to earn it. We may get the first one because Steve recommended us, but we have to keep the second, third, and fourth one. I understand that. I'm here to help. If you get stuck with your current lender and I can help he or she get out of a bind, we'll be glad to do that. I just want you guys to be successful, and what comes our way comes as a result of our efforts. So what I would tell somebody today, and it would go sort of like this, Steve. You can't be afraid to interject yourself into the process as a realtor. I think 10 years ago when Steve and I were in our 20s, which is not true for me, but was for Steve. I think 10 years ago, there wasn't all this internet presence. There wasn't all these customers coming in here already saying, I found a bank in Colorado with a half point better rate, or I went to the space mortgage company where they guarantee that I can close and all that kind of stuff. The customers are coming in here confident that they picked the right path for a closing. And it could be some obscure company that they picked just because of rate or just because of the cute ad they saw. I think, Steve and Mike, the time has passed where you can't be afraid to say, tell me who you're using for your loan. Let me have their name. Let me call and make sure that I'm asking the right questions. Is the loan approved? Is it in underwriting? Have they ordered the appraisal? Do you use an AMC company versus your own internal appraisal management? Can you reach out to a Wendell Couch and that loan get pushed to the front if you get in trouble? That customer who's buying a house every 8 years, there's no way possible, unless they're in the mortgage business, they understand what they're asking. And all they're being told is the loan looks fine. It looks great. And you guys know that 3 days before closing, it doesn't look great sometimes. So the first thing I would recommend is be brave and interject yourself and know who your customer is doing business with. The second thing would be, don't be afraid to sell, like Steve calls your customer service tent that you put people under. We put people in a tent, home inspectors, attorneys, partners, all that kind of things. And you have to explain to your customer, I don't make money from the mortgage lender. I don't make money. I make money per the contract. I get paid by the seller and as a real estate agent. That's who pays me. And the mortgage companies aren't paying me under the table. This is just one of my customer service tent members that will help you get to where you go, that I know I can count on and reach to. Whether it's Homestar or whether it's another lender, that's really, really important. So once you establish that, and your lender has a company that will perform, one of the things that we're faced with now, there's really two things in the appraisal world. If your lender uses an AMC, appraisal management company, you may not get the local appraiser because they take half of the appraiser's money. That's one of the things you want to look for. The next thing is the appraisers are swamped. They are overworked. The third thing is, and you may not know this, in Georgia, you cannot get licensed as an appraiser unless you have a college degree. They say one of the biggest shortages in the whole real estate world is going to be appraisers pretty soon. Georgia makes you have a college degree and won't license. So the appraisers are hard to come by. So we're asking our purchase appraisers to give us 8-day turnaround. One thing that we do, and we're kind of unique to this, but here's a good hint. You need to tell your customer, you've written a contract. You put in an appraisal contingency. To meet all those contingencies, it's going to cost you some money to do an appraisal. One thing that we do here, because of our owner committed, we get a contract, we order them without money. We do not want to blow a realtor's deal because the sheetrock nail was popped out in the inspection report and the customer thinks the house is falling down. They won't let us order the appraisal. We eat about $30,000 a month in appraisal fees that don't go, but we keep our realtor service. So your appraisal lag times are long. If you're writing a 7-day appraisal contingency, that ain't working. And I don't really, Steve, I don't really know how long appraisals and my contingencies are written for, but I'd say a 21-day appraisal contingency would be probably something that would be normal.
Right.
The attorneys are backed up. Not so bad. We order those titles early. Check with your lender. Ask them what the underwriting turn time is. One big lender, that not us, they're on 17 days before they look at the file the first time. We do an upfront underwrite, go straight from the loan officer's hands, straight to underwriting, and we get a kind of a look at the file early in the process. So really, and I'm gonna use the word brave, but be brave enough based on what I just went through to tell your borrower, hey, give me your lender's name. Let me call and ask some questions. And in my navigating the mortgage class that I've taught you guys a lot, just to say the loan's going fine would not be an answer I would accept. Has it been reviewed? Is it in underwriting? A 30-day close, Steve and Mike, is doable if your loan officer's on top of their game. If it's a Georgia Dream loan, if it's a VA loan, which, VA, they control the appraisal process, you need to be looking at a good 45-day process now. But we close loans in 21 days every day, but it's really dependent on how hard your loan officer wants to work.
Right.
So, and Steve, to address your question a minute ago, I will entertain hiring any loan officer. We have a great company that knows how to perform, but we can use great people just like you do, great agents. You got one of your favorite loan officers and you think they'd like to come here and be involved in virtual at a higher amount, higher degree and higher amount, we'd be certainly glad to look at that. So those are just a couple of things I would say. You got to be brave. You got to know who your customer is doing business with. Don't let them bulldoze you to saying, Rocket Mortgage has gotten me taken care of. Rocket Mortgage only pulls through 4% of their Rocket applications, Steve. That's it. And there's no mystery on how that works. So I think you have to have a brave partner in your lending partner, and you have to be brave to ask the right questions.
Well, Wendell, you hit the nail on the head. In fact, as a broker, managing broker, questions come in, situations that develop, 9 times out of 10, it's because our agent, as a buyer's agent, did not take control of the process and guide their client through the process. That's what we are. We have to be the experts on getting you from point A to point Z and all the steps in the way. And you're right. The partners are key. And laying that out, and that's why it's amazing. Like Zillow, right? Zillow leads for buyers, right? They don't want you even asking if they're pre-qualified. They don't want you asking if they're working with another agent. That's counterintuitive and absolutely against what we are supposed to do as real estate agents licensed by the state of Georgia. We are supposed to bring qualified buyers. And if we haven't even asked them if they're qualified, let alone go to the point, like you say, and that's part of your presentation skills. And that's what we're going to cover in this program is presenting yourself when you have that opportunity with a buyer or a seller in the best light. So coming out of it, they look at you as the expert that they want to help them buy or sell a house.
I'll never forget what Steve said one time, and I've stolen so much of your stuff, Steve. I don't mean to be a plagiarist, but I kind of guess I am. Steve said, don't just hit them over the head. And Steve, correct me if I'm wrong with, are you qualified? You talk to your lender. Develop a little skin in the game with them. Have a little relationship time with them. Then they'll come into your tent of trust. Now, Steve, I think I've heard you say that so many times. Go show them the house. Go meet them at a coffee shop in the old days. Spend some time on the phone with them. Spend an hour showing them listings. And then once they're inside that trust circle, Steve, that you've talked about, then say, listen, we need to get you pre-qualified. At least we just need to talk about that. It becomes a lot, right, Steve, becomes a lot more natural if you've got that trust level built up with them. And I just really believe that with all my heart.
Wendell and Steve, you're right. I mean, 2 sales you got to make. They have to trust you as a person first, and they have to trust you as a professional next. But they have, the psychological part is they at some point early on or whenever that happens, they have to say, you know what, this is a good person. This is a nice person. I trust this person, and I'm going to open up more, because you don't really find out what's in people's hearts until they trust you. So, if you really want to find out what they're really thinking, what's really going on that they're not telling you about, get them to trust you first. I couldn't agree more. That's the secret sauce to trust.
All right, so let's stick with our, what we're,
Thank you.
we have an
Thank you.
kind of, taking control of things. We have an objective of this class, and those are them right now to explain the program in detail, explain the program rules and expectations, because we'll be signing up today, and we're going to be allowing people signed up until probably the end of October. It'll be tougher for them, but develop communication systems, begin formulating vision goals and all that stuff. You see the main things there. So that's what we got a PowerPoint. We've already been talking. No, Mike, you want to take from here? You're muted.
A little earlier, we were talking about this before 10 o'clock came, but last program we had basically 4 categories, and we put everybody into a couple of categories. And again, a key driver in this business is communications, and those conversations that we have with prospects that turn into appointments, that turn into agencies, that turn into contracts. That's the start, and that's the one of the essential ways that we are successful. So we counted each week. Now keep in mind, this is about 10 to 11 weeks worth of totals, right? If you figure, after session 1, people started reporting their numbers. Session 2, we had 11 sessions. We cut it off there. So over that 10-week period, Delania averaged 50 calls a week, 50 contacts a week. And like Steve has brought up, and many people know, Tom Ferry's number is 50 conversations leads to a transaction, leads to a closing, right? So way to go, Delania. She won $400. She was number 1. Rain was number 2. Lori, Jeff, Ben, excellent job. So let's hear it. Congratulations. You got the checks in the mail. No, just kidding. We'll get shared on it, right? So yeah, let's
kind of see, if everybody does similar, next time where you might have to place to, get a $400 check. We have to totally finalize. This is what we're going to do. This is we're going to do something very, very, very similar. I think we're going to have the same amount or more to give away. But again, as Mike was saying, you want to know the real fundamental thing for really determining success. The easiest thing is correlated. If you have more conversations with people, prospecting conversations, or you can say interactions, and they don't even have to really be verbal, but most of the time we look at them as being verbal. Most of the time we look at it as being on the phone. Could be a door knock, but if we can just inspire you, motivate you, and get you having more conversations, more good things are going to happen. And again, this is a decade to decade and a half of research by Tom Ferry about all the people they put in certain platforms, and they were able to deduct that, in an average market about 1 in 50, but this is a better than average market. It may be somewhere around the 1 in 40. Truthfully, it's just a guide, but it's a very solid guide. So anyways, the next one, Mike, I'll let you.
Okay, so this was listing agreements gained. Okay, so that's actual the raw numbers. Yvonne, congratulations. Charlene, Lynette, Angelia, tie between Lisa and Angelia. We got that twice. I guess Lisa, there was somebody else that might
I
be.
didn't understand that part.
Yeah. Oh, actually, well, Angelia was 4th. There was a tie between Lisa and Jeff Hanna, which didn't go on there. But anyway, so Jeff and Lisa will split the $50. Angelia won 100. Excellent job. Now look at this though. These are actual agency agreements signed. So again, over 10 weeks, Charlene and Yvonne average 1 a week. You bring in one agency, you bring in a listing on a property or a buyer agency, 1 of those a week, you're going to be selling 1 house a week eventually, if they're legitimate clients. right? And you're going to qualify them and go through the process. We'll talk about that. But anyway, great work, Yvonne. She was on the class every week, as was every one of these folks participating and making the calls, getting the appointments, getting the agency. Lynette works with a lot of buyer leads where she meets them for the first time in the house. Like Wendell was saying, she provides a good level of service. She communicates with them, gains their trust, and then gets the agency signed. So good job. Way to go there. Excellent.
And I'll just add, it says listing agreements. I don't know, is that a combination of buyer
That
agreements?
is a combination of buyer agencies and seller agencies.
We might separate that out next time because I love buyer agency agreement signed, but I'll tell you what, there is an absolute desperation in our industry for listings. If you get a listing, you are the biggest rock star in our business. So everything we want to do to focus on getting listings is what we're going to do because that is the right thing to do right now.
Right.
We can get buyers. We have buyer agents desperate, begging our agents, please find listings. They're doing stuff on our message board, posting on our message board. So that kind of should tell you that that's a real important thing.
Right. And then we did the overall total points by two groups. And again, we separated this first program, we separated in the people that had lower production coming into the program, people and less time in the business.
That one's the more production one right there, right?
Right. That's the more production. Right. So that was two groups. This is the higher producers, the ones with experience. Group A were the sultans of sales. And again, a lot of conversations. Delania got a lot of points for those conversations. We were giving points out like 10 points for a conversation, stuff like that. So, but it adds up. You start getting agencies, you start getting buyers and sellers under contract. And again, listings, high point levels for those things, right? When you get the agency signed. And again, Steve is 100% right. But anyway, great production. Delania, again, $500. Charlene, $400. Angelia, another $300. Lori, another $200. Jeff Hanna. So you can see these were the people that consistently, more than everybody else, hit their numbers. And it's a combination of things that show on these results. And if we go,
you'll see in a second, we have a really, the state-of-the-art platform that really keeps track of this stuff. And it's really graphical. We'll get that in a second once we get through these slides.
And then here, these are the less experienced, people that were in the group B. And look at Rain was actually number 2 overall. If you combine both groups there, and we had a whole bunch there between 4,000 up to the 7,000 or 8,000 top number. John, one of our newer agents, Don, great job right off the bat. Nancy was a administrative person on a team. Now she's on her own, off to a great start, working hard. Ben, same thing, great job. So congratulations to everybody that put the effort in, and
And the best thing about it is these people are now, they're not going to be beginners next time. We're probably going to take the top 10 and make sure they graduate over to the advanced section.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting there.
Yeah, get to the next level, compete with the best. The neat thing is this doesn't count all the commissions that people were earning. If you looked at some of the gross commissions earned, it was like $40,000 was the top people, close to $40,000 over that period of time. Basically a 2.5 month period of time, making $40,000 in commissions, $35,000 in commissions. We didn't show you that, but all those numbers are calculated too. It's the CSU system is amazing.
One other concept though, I always say in real estate, guys, listen to me, whatever you're experiencing now, the income that's flowing into you now, the closings you're having now, the listing appointments you're having now is based on the seeds you planted 3 months ago, 2 to 3 to 4 months ago. So really the harvest is going to be coming these next few months, and the harvest you're going to plant over these next few months. Yeah, you're going to get some sales. You already said everyone's productivities pretty much went up, well, at least a little bit, some substantially in this period of time, but where the harvest is going to come in is next year. My wife, real quickly, and Lori was in, I think you were in Leader's Choice that time with my wife at that time. She really got, and a lot of those people, Jeff Hanna was one of them, got this energy that they created from this time. It started almost this time. Some people say it's a strange time of year to be doing coaching because we're going to be drinking eggnog and wanting to go to parties all the time. But people create their momentum, and then the year started, and boom, and they had the best year because they did the work from October to December that set up their entire next year.
And Steve, this year, more so than ever, all the economic experts, all the real estate experts that reading the National Realtor magazine, all that stuff, what is going to happen this year? Everything got pushed back. That's why we're still very, very busy now. This fall and into the next spring, they're expecting to be a record spring in real estate. And what Steve just said is now you're positioning yourself to, again, rekindle relationships, start new relationships. Yes, some people you talk to this week that are thinking about selling their house will sell it later. And that's fine because you'll get that listing too. So yeah, great advice, Steve. And I will tell you, when I was in the training business full time with Leaders Choice, this was our biggest season for training programs. All the top companies, I'm talking about the big ones with 4,000 agents or more, did programs in the fall to get their people geared up for the spring market that was inevitable. So anyway,
good choice. Tell you some of the reasons why I was adamant about having a coaching program like this internal. I want to make sure nobody got left behind. Nobody could literally look me in the eye or call me up. Oh, I just got left. They just left me for dead out there. I got my license, didn't know what to do. And if you get in this program, it is a 3-month program. We're making you set goals. We're inspiring you. We're motivated. But Mike is training you for at least an hour and 15 minutes. You're learning from the other people. So first thing Mike does, he has about an hour and 15 minutes of training in each one of the sessions. But then we listen to agents as to how they're succeeding. That's the most exciting thing to hear. And to even hear some of the brand new agents who say, I've never been on the listing presentation, scared to death, almost didn't go on it. But I said what you told me to say to get the appointment. I went and said what you told me to say at the appointment. And then they said, yeah, let's list this thing. And they're like, hey, I almost fell out of my chair, in disbelief. That's the exciting thing. So this is why everybody should be in this program, especially newer people, but experienced people. Actually, it's the rock stars who, like Lori Varela, who are in this program. And she could probably not take it and be fine too, but she knows that this is probably gonna get her that little extra. And we're gonna have a few people in a few minutes talk about it. But this is a new program from the last one. It's never going to be perfect. And Mike and I talk almost once a week about things we would like to do to make it even better. This was a slide from the last time. The point I have this Roswell thing here is basically what we do in this class is we re-engineer your goals. Like they say, they re-engineered flying saucers in Area 51. Well, we're going to take your goals, and then we're going to re-engineer them with a plan. So I just wanted to say that. The main things: healthy mindset, growth mindset, anti-victim. You can't be a victim in this program. No excuse limit 0. You're going to have SMART goals. We're going to use time block. If you don't know what it is now, you're going to know what it is by the end of the program, because that's one of the keys to success, being successful. One of the things that as far as these conversations, it's hard to define what a conversation is. I can really define it. The more conversations you have, the more successful you're going to have. But a prospecting conversation is just a conversation that advances the success pipeline. Anything that either adds to it or advances it. If you can be always working on your database and moving them down the line, at least checking in on them, then that counts. We're going to work, supposed to be convert, but lead funnel, converse with your data. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense, because they were trying to have conversations. So you have conversations with your database, leads, and we set up targets. So you have a database, we have leads that are coming in, and targets. But these are the main things in discipline. But the bottom line is this: how do I generate or locate enough people? Because you can say, Steve, Mike Ferry says this: how many closings do you want to have? 20. Okay. Then what you need to do is make sure you fit in. What is that? 1,000 conversations, 20 times 50 conversations. So you got to have 1,000 conversations. maybe a little bit less if you're more advanced and you have a more seasoned database. Then how do I, who do, then the thing is how and when. How do I have these conversations? That sounds good, Steve, but go have these conversations, but how do I do this? That's what we spend every session involves this question. How do I generate and or locate people to have conversations with? And then what do I do now that I have a prospect to converse with? How do I converse with them? Mike spends an immense amount of time explaining how you actually converse with them. So if you can do that, it's about quantity and quality. So first of all, you got to do the quantity conversations and then the quality conversations. If you can have quality conversations, the better quality you have, that conversion ratio goes from 50 to maybe 20 or even 10 eventually. So I'm gonna whip down here. These are the folks. This is the new Mike. This is new stuff here. So I kind of made this number one. We want you to set goals. This is an Excel spreadsheet. The yellow is where this will be your homework assignment, by the way. Everyone on here, you have homework if you're going to take this program. We want you to start thinking, thinking where you want to go. You got to begin with the end in mind. But how many names or leads are you going to add to your database? You're going to put it in here. It's going to, that's going to be per week. How many are you going to do per week? What's a reasonable number? Think of a reasonable number. We'll help you come up with how you do it. All the hows will help you with that in the coaching program. But put in what's a reasonable number per week. It's going to go and auto calculate month and quarter, even year. Then here are the points you're going to get for this. So you'll be able to figure out estimate how many points you think you're going to get. I want to see people put these numbers in. I want to see them do it. I want to see you do it. Put the numbers in and do it. If it kills you for 1 quarter, then the next thing you're going to do is obviously you're going to try to have conversation. Well, every name you put in the database, you might be able to call at least once, possibly 2 times. But we're going to try to figure out ways, and we will give you the ways. By the way, the number is unlimited here. It's just how many you're willing to do. So how many conversations a week? What's a reasonable number, Mike or Joe or Lori? I'll ask Lori, what's a reasonable number of conversations? More than reasonable, what's reasonable, but just a little challenging a week?
A week, 60.
Oh, wow, that's good. So that's a good one. So if you did six, that's 240 times 4. That's a lot of conversations, man. You're going to make a lot of money if you do that. It is, again, it's planting seeds now that are going to sprout up later. Mike, you want to say something?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. It is, and 25 to 40 is a good number there. I was just thinking, if I was in, selling real estate full time, I would have enough time each day to have 5 to 10 conversations. I would say a minimum of 5. And I can tell you this, if you were calling for sale by owners and expireds and you had the right dialogue, you will set a lot of appointments. Just the other day, I had a new agent in here. I made 4 phone calls, set 2 appointments, literally. And those were for sale by owners. And I'd say one of them is a very good chance of getting the listing because it was underpriced and stuff like that. So the skill level is what you want to get to also. So this is a combination. Do the work, put the time in, learn how to do it better and better, like Steve has been saying. That's what the coaching and the training part is about, really, the training part, okay? The coaching is, hey, get those calls in. The training is, where do I get the names? Who do I call? What do I say when I call? What's going to give me the best return? What's going to get me with that person quicker? So you're right. Anyway, that's all I got to say. But the numbers.
Yeah, we'll encourage you to work on quantity immediately, and then polish your quality, and know that your conversion rate will improve over time.
That's right.
As we've talked about before, the listing appointments. First you got to set the appointment. I kind of taken that one out because I want them to show up at the appointment. I mean, what's the point in setting an appointment if it's so? There are components to this, but we can't give points for every single thing. It's too complicated. So every appointment that you attend, obviously you're gonna be setting appointments, and then I think you should attend the vast majority of them. There's only a strange reason why people cancel or whatever.
Right.
So we're gonna try to get you set appointments and attend the appointments, then obviously win the appointments. We're gonna have training on exactly how to do that. But listings are king. Listings are king right now. They're more. I've been 31 years. They're more valuable today than any time I've ever been. A real estate agent, and it's the greatest time to sell and buy I've ever in 31 years. Everyone should be selling and buying right now. And so then this is the other thing is I don't know Wendell's there, but we're gonna. It doesn't have to be with home. I want to make sure we say that, but gosh, what can you say about when the like vice president of the company attends the mastermind and the coaching sessions? But when you do a legitimate pre-qualified, just don't wear your loan originator out with all these bogus names, but give them a legitimate person to call. Every time you give a person to call, like over here, it's 125 points. I feel like, and Delane, I think, is the one who kind of opened my mind to this, because that then creates that partnership between you. If you can get that with that lender, you have that click with that lender, they're going to watch your back. You're going to watch their back, and so then you can call them up. Hey, they're not going to give you all the nitty gritty about, the credit score and all that other stuff, but they'll give you enough information so that is so vital when you're working with buyers. The step one, get yourself a lender that you can connect with. And you tell them, hey, you don't have to use them. I just found this to be the most knowledgeable person. I can deal with every lender in the whole industry, but this is my information source, and it's also your information source. But if you so choose to go a different direction, no problem. But most of the time they won't. Agency agreements signed, buyer agency agreement signed. That's another thing we're wanting to do, obviously, but it starts with that pre-qualification. We don't work much with them until they're pre-qualified. And then new buyer pending sales. We give a little bit for that. Yeah, this is not what this is about. This is about planting seeds for the harvest. One day we were all trying to train new farmers, and then we gave big awards to the people, just the crops. Where's your crops? Well, I haven't planted seeds yet. So this is about planting seeds, but I don't want to penalize people that have business and make it, because that's a lot of wear and tear on them. If they're closing 5 or 6, they're going to get a little bit of points. They're not going to like the amount of points they get, but they are getting a little bit of points for the time loss that they have while doing that. Now, it's a big advantage to have closings and activity, because guess what? Activity creates more activity. I always explain this. It's taken me 30 years to figure out really this thing about momentum is real, folks. You want to gain, this is what this program does, is gain momentum. It's going to go into next year. It's going to go into spring and summer of next year. But then, same thing with new sellers. 5-star reviews. Man, if we can get you focused on 5-star reviews. There's one more here that's not on here that I also want to focus on in a second, and I'm talking about testimonials, recommendations, even if it's a video, anything of that kind that you have substance. It's got to be substance. Not say somebody said something about me or said it. We got to be able to publish it somewhere. So, but the reviews, the testimonials, the video testimonials, or written testimonials, you want to collect these things. I would like to think that if you did like one a week, if you just did one a week, been able to gather one a week, and it doesn't even have to really be someone that you've done business with, quite honestly. I think those are the best ones that you've done business with. But if you did one a week, that's 52 that you have at the end of the year. That you are now on Zillow. Apparently, that's really big clout on Zillow and Realtor.com.
Steve, I'm going to thank y'all. I need to check out for another appointment, if that's okay. But I appreciate you guys so much, and I appreciate the chance to say hello. And I'll see everybody Thursday.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, sir. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Wendell.
much. All right, sir.
All right, so the other
Steve.
thing, Mike and I talked about is a peer partners this year, this session. We didn't do that. Everyone's kind of individuals, but we're going to match people up. We don't know if it's 3 or 4, but it's probably either 3 or 4. I don't think it would be more than 5. Whatever we think, 3 or 4 is a pretty good number to where you kind of got what we call a peer partner. It's almost like not a mentor, but they're kind of like a peer. A peer is someone that's very similar to you.
Like a mini mastermind group, so to speak, to share and help each other.
Then also, since we're going to be going over scripting and, hey, presentations, y'all, what we're hoping to do, and we're going to be inspiring you to do this over the course of time and say, hey, how about this weekend you get with your peer partners and everyone do a mock listing presentation to one another. One person will listen, the other person will be the seller, and you'll be the presenter. Switch it around and critique one another constructively. And I think that'll be a really good thing. But then hey, go over and take the objection. I want to think about it. Mock like you're the seller. Do your close, close for the sale, and then them saying, Mr. Collard, you've given a good presentation, but I want to think about it. That sort of thing. That there's a lot of things we're going to do to utilize this peer partnering thing. I'm not going to get into all the details. Just want you to know it's going to be a really exciting part of the program. And we're going to actually give points for every time y'all have one of the approved sessions or the sessions that we have. We're going to have a 2-hour, we're going to do our homework a little differently. I'm going to try to load this into our learning management system. And if you do it, you get certificates for doing it. And so more on that later. We'll have, certificates for business planning. In other words, that's also somewhat of a homework assignment. It's going to be on our learning management system. You'll have to watch some videos and then, read some stuff and do some stuff, and you'll get a certificate. Also, training of CSU. We'll talk about what CSU is in a second. New to VPR. I've created a whole new to VPR course, but I realize that 90% of the people have been with VPR don't know 90% of this stuff. So it's not required, but you get points for doing it, and you'll get points for prospecting. Just a prospecting course. It's going to be an hour or less on prospecting, hour or less working with buyers. We bring it around real quick. An hour or less on working with sales. We figure if you've got planning, you've got prospecting, you got working with buyers, you got working with sellers. About all the gadgets and all the iBuyer and the lease purchase and all that. We know you're going to be a better agent at the end of this, and you're going to be more successful. We also have, for small closings, I think I may have even put that. No, for closings, we'll have little small points, and I haven't quite figured out what it is. The special events thing, this is something Mike and I are really excited about. You want to talk about the special events, Mike?
Yeah. Joe, Joe, did you want to make one comment there? Did I hear you say?
It was back on the previous slide on number 5 there's a lot more to that relationship with your lender. And what I found, I wish I'd have learned this when I first got in the business, but what I found is when you have somebody working with your lender, that's stronger than a buyer brokerage engagement. Once they start giving their financials to the person that you suggested them, generally that lender's looking out for you. And that is just a great way to solidify that new contact. That was what I wanted to add. Sorry.
That's exactly it, Joe. I mean, that's why, when Delana said that, I go, that is real. Not just because Wendell's not here anymore and, whatever on that, but everybody's been done that. If you've got a really tight buyer, or you got to have a good one that, y'all really have that connection. They're going to keep it. It's like almost money in the bank. And all you really want to do is get them a ready, potential person. You almost just close for that. And then once they get there, they're almost real excited now. They really want to talk to you now. But yeah, so good point on that. Mike and I came up with a bunch of special sessions. We don't know how many in this quarter, and we're going to continue this concept into next year. And those who take the coaching program, we want you to, help us on this, but we're going to throw out at least 2 or 3 of these by the end of the year. And
yeah, it's exciting. Be a chance to watch each other do presentations. We'll have a contest. We'll vote on who wins, who did the best presentation live. So again, more opportunities to get better.
So one of them is like, is we're going to try to have everybody you sign up. We probably only could do 5. It's 20 minutes max. I'll even have a clock ticking. It'll be points deducted if you don't get it done in 20 minutes. But you got to go and simulate a 20-minute listing presentation. And that way everyone get to hear everyone else's listing presentation. And you'll learn, instead of just listening to someone like me and Mike or whatever, some teacher talking. Now you get to hear people that have prepared for this, and they're going to give. So there's going to only be like 5. I anticipate having maybe 50, 60, 70, 100 people on there, and they will all vote. And the winners it'll be some cash, but it's just really good. You got to think about it. So if you'll do your listing presentation in front of 100 people, that's going to give you a lot of confidence.
Exactly. And again, we're going to, have incorporated the tools of how to put it together to begin with. So we're going to do some training on it, let you put it together, role play it with your group, your small group, your peer group, and then get ready for the big show. And and again, it's just, I think we all know, to grow, you got to stretch a little bit, right? You got to get outside your comfort zone a little bit. So this is all about helping you do that in a positive, coaching environment where we're all pulling it for each other. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and the prize money, that doesn't hurt either. So
the participants will really grow, but guess what? The viewers who vote, you're just going to get a lot of great ideas by listening to some of those people do it. We'll do the same thing for the buyer consultation. Preferably, I know a lot of, probably, I would guess 9 out of 10 buyer agencies that sell, probably don't go through the buyer consultation process. We always recommend it. I mean, honestly, Joe, I'll ask you, how many do you actually have that sit down? I know you would like to do every one of them, but let's be honest, how many? Sometimes you just jump in there and you just don't get a chance to do that. You're almost educating them on the fly. But I just for the record, I urge you to do that. Anyways, but we're going to do that, and we're going to try to simulate and demonstrate what happens at that buyer consultation process. And it'll be like a training class. We'll just start off. We have 5 contestants. Y'all are going to be voting. Y'all listen, take notes, but then voting in. Let's crown our champion. And I did coaching a few years back, and one of the best things we did is that I told people that on this date we're going to have a bunch of people. Only like 5 could participate. But they had their website at the time, and they really wanted to show off their website. Well, I already made a guide to what I thought some of the things that made a good website, and it was a lot of things, and it was kind of the scorecard that everyone used. So we did the same thing, but maybe and we had them spend about 10 minutes taking us a tour. I would, we'll do the screen share, let them take control. They'll tour us of their website and why this is such a dynamic website. And so when you have 5 people do that for their website, but also, objection handling, they'll know what the objection is, and we're just going to see how people handle it, and then we'll vote on. So these are what I'm excited about, special even prospecting scripts on how to utilize it'll be hypothetical. If maybe Mike or I would end up being the customer, we'll give them a hard time on a scale of 7 on a scale of 1 to 10, and so forth. But yeah, so the special sessions is something I'm real excited about adding, along with the peer partners, and we've got a lot of those in mind. Talk about the peer partner. And again, there's more than 15 ways. There's a sheet we have when you're in the coaching program. We'll do a little mini class on it about how to have a higher conversion rate. So you're not dealing with the 1 in 50. We've already talked about the main things. Right. We do have a website over there, main things, obtaining leads, nurturing leads, converting, consultations, client agreements, purchase and sale, contracts, closings.
And, just to interject, Steve, on CSU, as we get into that, one of the nice benefits of CSU is you can be able to enter all that information. Yes, we're counting points for certain things, but your closings, your GCI numbers, all that stuff can be in CSU and take advantage of it. It's a great program.
CSU's again, the program we're going to show you just a couple minutes, but again, this is one of the views that you will have. Everyone has their own account. And so you're going to set the goals will be on the bottom. This looks like a year's goal. That's quite aggressive goals there, even nevertheless. But that's probably the team. That's probably team's goals. So it's no individual. But so the top is how many you've done in relation to your goals, and it could be set on a monthly or quarterly. You can do those views. So now at the bottom you'll have your goal, and then you're trying to get this thing green. It actually changes colors. It's like a dial. And so then you'll keep track of your appointments, your first time appointments. I think the top is buyer, bottom seller, the appointments that are signed, appointments that are under contract, appointments that close, etc. Those types of things. So again, we already talked about it's free. It's a quarterly program. Today is the 14th. The Tuesday, the 21st is really the first training class, the real first classes. This is the introductory course. We're just trying to explain what it is and, how much it costs, which is free, and why you might want to get into it. Hopefully you've seen some of the reasons, but if you want to start kind of looking at the schedule, it's just basically every Tuesday and Wednesday, except for when we get into the Thanksgiving week. We're off that Thanksgiving week.
I think there's a 1 or 2 days where on Wednesday it'd be in the afternoon after the corporate meeting.
Yeah, corporate meeting. Yeah, I didn't put that on there.
It's
So
okay.
yeah, so whenever we have a corporate meeting, we have to move it to the back because Mike's a speaker at our meeting. So yeah, we're going to get 10 classes in this quarter because a lot of holiday disruption there. There's usually always one holiday, but in this case there are 2 holidays. So we'll kind of speed through the formality stuff here. It's all about progress and being accountable, no excuses. We talked about that. We've got a bunch of useful tools like this. We'll show you. This is a screenshot of how you keep up with all this through CSU. We're going to show you that in a second. Just see if there's anything else of any real. We've already been through all this stuff. Don't need to get into that. Just want to make sure there's nothing that we do have a website. I'm going to show you that in a second. By the way, you go to learn and you drop down learn. You'll see coaching program. We want you to register. Right now, there's a brand new registration link. Doesn't matter whether you've been in the program before. Everyone, we can't assume that you're going to want to do it this time. So everyone's got to register to be in the program. There's a link right there to register. I've not tested it. I was just working on it before the class. Then we'll have homework all the time there. That it's optional stuff, but it really helps develop you. What we want to do is again get you to plant all kinds of seeds and just know you're a more evolved person, positively evolved person at the end of it. And of course, we have a place where CSU is the goal setting, business planning, motivational, accountability application. They call it gamification, which means they try to make a game out of something that's a lot of people may not think is all that fun, but and it's a pretty good tool for doing that. A lot of other links to stuff here. And this is kind of what your homework looks like. We have basically the same, Lori, similar homework from last time. Add a couple little things in there. We'll have a little bit of extra things, but it's similar homework. And it is optional stuff. This is kind of how the whole thing goes down, just so you know what can I expect at each session, because this is not the way it's going to be. this moving forward. This is just an introductory thing. We're going to spend a good 30 minutes showing off or really giving praise to the people who have really have put in a great week. And it's a different person every week. That's what's exciting about. Some people take a little step back, take a little break that 1 week. But some people just really say, okay, this is going to be my week. They rise up. And then it's not just about glorifying them. It's like, all right, man, how did you do it? How did you, Lori Varela, you made 75 calls, I want to hear about this.
Right.
And that's probably the best part of the whole class is listening to all these people about how they succeeded and what drove them. And, I think that's the most entertaining part. I think it'll be very motivating to you to listen to your peers who are out there struggling and, sometimes you're prevailing, sometimes get crashing and burning a little bit. I think it's all exciting and motivational. But then we try not to go too much past 30 minutes. Mike does want to touch on some of the homework, and really, talk more about goals and make sure we're getting people in their goals. But then we want to go at least an hour, if not an hour and 15 minutes on a topic. And they're going to be a little different this time. So it's not going to be the same thing. And then concluding things. And then Mike will stay after, especially for the newer ones, because a lot of people don't want to, share their struggles or whatever. So he'll sit around and try to help people that may be stuck or having problems. And literally, he's a broker anyways, folks. He's a coach and a broker. So he can kind of help you with just about anything at that point. Bottom line is we don't want people to get stuck. You're not by yourself out there. Unfortunately, we can only, as the, what's his name, Morpheus in the Matrix says, we can only show you the door. We can lead you to the door. You'll have to walk through it. We'll lead you to the water, but you've got to drink the water. As Snoop Dogg says, we lay it out for you to play it out, So that's it. We can't do your push-ups for you, but we can dang show you how to do a push-up. We can cheer you on. We can do that. We're inventing things. I think that's what Mike and I do. How can we get people to do more push-ups? We know it's good for them. How can we inspire them to do it? Because I know they're going to be happy about themselves if they do a lot of them. So anyways, there's a bunch of nonsense here. I'm just going to speed on. One of the best things is that you're with a group of, here's the best thing. I'll tell you, this is the best thing. There's a lot of best things. But when you have once a week, you can get together with people on the same path as you. Because quite honestly, 3,600 people, I wish everyone, but you guys are on this meeting right now. You guys are special people because you actually want to do something. You wouldn't be on this if you really weren't serious about taking things to the next level. And we're not going to waste your time. This may be the only semi-waste of time because we're going introductory phase and everything like that. But from this point forward, but one of the main benefits is now you get this energy of people who are really pushing it. And we think that's what this program does. It sucks out of 3,600 people, all the people who are really serious about this business. Lori Varela, you're serious about this business. And you need to be around a Lori Varela because it's just healthy. I like being around Lori Varela. She inspires me. So you want to be around other people that they're going to, subconsciously, they just carry you down the path. So that's, it's hard to explain. That's one of the X factors. Now, Mike is going to want you to get a contract signed by the closest people around, because guess who's going to sabotage? First of all, you're probably going to sabotage. You're not going to, but when we do not do what we're going to do, generally it is us. It's not whoever is president now, or it's not the weather. It's not the economy, but the one thing that can kind of eat away at us, whoever you hang out with, you got to set them straight. Billy Davis will tell you the story back in 1988 or whatever, 1989. I told him, I ain't going to see you for a while. And it's because we're friends. You know how friends are, early 20s, going out to clubs and stuff like that. I go, I'm just going to prepare you. I don't want to hear this stuff. Steve, what happened to Steve? He just disappeared from us. I said, I'm telling you, I'm disappearing from you. You won't hear from me anymore because I'm getting my real estate license. I'm going to really apply myself. And he tells that story all the time. You need to have a sit down, come down, with a lot of the people in your life and say, hey, I'm in this coaching program for 3 months. I have the option of doing it next year, may or may not do it. But I'll tell you this much, if I'm in this coaching program, I'm going to take advantage of this and it's game on. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to say, hey, it's game on. Go tell everybody, hey, game on. Point them in, and I want you to sign that you're not going to distract me. You're not going to nag me. You're not going to make guilt me. You're not going to entice me. I'm gonna max this thing out. And maybe I'm a little bit more gung ho than you are. You don't have to be quite that gung ho, but yeah, Mike, what are you going to?
No, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. You need the support. You need to surround yourself with great people outside the business, inside the business. I was at a little marriage encounter meeting the other day, and they were talking about when people really want to be successful, they have to work together and come together and have a singular focus. Of course, they were talking about God as the leader in a marriage. But think about it. You have you, your clients, and your company. And your company and the philosophy of the company and the knowledge and wisdom that you gain from this type of involvement, I think is really that centering force that brings you together and brings success. I'll be honest with you, having been in business for 50 years, I've worked for very few companies overall. But to me, the company and what it represented and what it brought to the table, which was through me, if you will, to the customer, was what brought it all together and made me successful. It wasn't just, oh, Mike worked hard. No, there's other elements involved. So pick good customers, be with the right company, get the right leadership and guidance. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
One thing that we could show is we'll go on to Sisu a little bit. The Sisu thing we've been talking about. I think this will excite you guys a little bit if I can get this thing to. What the heck?
Yeah, I might could bring it up. Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
You got it.
You want to do it or you want?
No, go ahead. It's all right. You got it up already. Yeah, there you go. And that was interesting. That page, interesting. Just even though he'll change the challenges and do all of them, you see the total numbers. But that was just 1 week, and it shows the last entries over a week's period of time, and so forth. So,
I want everybody. Who's number one?
Lori.
That's it. And it feels good, doesn't it, Lori?
Yeah.
Be sitting on top the top podium, the pedestal there. So yeah, it's exciting. She went number one, she dropped down number two, sometimes number three, dropped down number 5 or 6. I'm sure that motivated her. She worked her way back up to the top. But it's fun. You're not really in competition with your peers. You're just they kind of illuminate what is possible, and then it kind of motivates you to kind of keep climbing to the top. But this is one of the visual things that we have going. It scrolls down even more. This is just the last month, man. It was scrolled down a lot. But that's one of our visuals. And then we have leaderboards over here. Y'all get accounts to this, by the way.
Right.
Some of you already have accounts to it.
Well, again, back to the several slides ago, you go to the VPR Central page. I mean, the VPR Learn on VPR Central, and then down to the VPR Coaching page, and make sure that you register for Sisu if you're not already in there, and you register for the coaching. Okay, so register for coaching first, then go to Sisu and register. And
is that what you see right now?
Yep. You had it. Yep, there you go.
I know. I've now gone to Sisu here.
Yep,
I'll register for your free Sisu account.
Right.
And you get that straight from coaching.
Right. And then there's instructions. There's a nice tutorial in there. Again, it's pretty simple process to enter your data as you go through it. But to make sure for next week that you're in the coaching program, get those 2 registrations done, and we'll wrap up with some guidance here in a few minutes. But anybody that has a challenge with Sisu between now and next week, don't hesitate to call. Send me call me directly, send me an email. We'll be glad to help you get that figured out. It's you're gonna love it. It's really gonna keep you on track. And again, going back, that's where you want to go back to those couple of simple forms and set those weekly goals for yourself. Yeah, here's appointments set, just the one category there. You can see Charlene set a lot of good appointments there. Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
over that period of time. Lynette had, 14, 18, Diana, Delano rather, Yvonne Mason did a great job setting appointments. Angelia, these were 5-star reviews. Actually, you might want to check. I think there was a few more perhaps that came in because that might only be check the date. Yeah, where it goes through. Yeah, October. Yeah, there you got a little update there, right? So Alice jumped in there strong. Jim got a few there last week or two. Yvonne, yep. So that's big. Talk about branding. What are people doing? They're checking people out before they start working with them, companies and everything. So, you want to. That's a big part of this program, really. But if you go down, go down to where it says gross commission. Just see closed or projected. Let's see.
Glasses on here.
Yeah. Signed volume.
There we go.
See what kind of numbers. $3,900,000 worth of business. 1,700,000. 1,400,000. Some good numbers over a 2.5 month period.
Yeah, that's $100,000 commission that Charlene was brought in.
Yeah.
In a short period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, all this, it's,
I mean, that's what the conversation numbers equate to at the end of the day. I mean, and this system, it's kind of neat. If you keep track of it, you can really, project out what's going on, how much I've got in. Here's my plan. You want to do
well, the
10 minutes?
conversations are, believe it or not, you do get instant gratification, but literally it is planting seeds. That's what you're doing.
Yep.
And
another neat thing that you brought up earlier, when you learn something new and it succeeds, that's really rewarding. But I don't know about y'all, but every time I get a new agent signed, like a listing, every time I make a sale, so to speak, every time on the phone I set an appointment, it's an exhilaration. I mean, there's a natural reward for being successful, and it's not pride or ego. It's just, boy, it feels good when somebody says yes. And the more you learn, the more you do it, the more often. Yeah.
I wish I could take some of these out because I'm trying to look for the leads in the database, but it's labeled something else here.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, well, it's here right in front of my face, but I won't struggle with this with a bunch of people on.
Yeah, but anyway, CSU is great. So enroll for the class, enroll for CSU Tuesday and Wednesday next week. If you have a conflict on Tuesday, by all means, get into the Wednesday class. I know some of you are taking Jumpstart, which is great for your post license. But again, we're going to be storing both classes. You could always go back and watch the class on Tuesday if you would to the Wednesday class. So
We'll take a tour a little bit here. This is where you'll register for the class right here. Click on this. It's going to open up this form. We're going to want to put your last name in there, first name, company that you're with, phone number, email address, describe yourself, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Now, that's not necessarily what we'll describe you as, but approximate of closings the last 12 months. I can meet Tuesday or Wednesday at 10 a.m. It's yes or no, or if there's another, then you can do it. You can give us some notes here if you just kind of want to tell us something, but we're going to put you in, the proper place. And that's that. And then we'll end up having a view. You'll be able to see who's all in the program later on.
Perfect.
So we've got some chats flowing in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. So then let's go back to the coaching and go over some other things. Just again about CSU login, CSU links.
Right.
Like we said, we'll have homework here and the recaps will be here. We have this class attendance thing if we want to use that, but then some of the key, key documents, which will kind of really reveal more in the actual classes. We don't want to overwhelm you with too much stuff now. Here, by the way, it is the program rules, regulations, standards, and pledge for support. That pledge for support's right here. You don't have to do this now, but it'll be, before we get too deep in the program, he'll want to collect these from everybody, and,
Right.
we'll talk about that later on, but, just trying to give yourself a little bit of a, let's see what happened here. Do that. Sometimes it does that, wants me to redo the page. Okay, I'm just gonna get
Yeah.
out.
I think that's good. Well, again, I think everybody hopefully sees how the register. If you get confused, give us a call. Whatever, we'll help you out there. Yeah, there's the VPR coaching, right?
Any other questions? I mean, I think that was a good presentation. You should know what's going on. Any other questions if we just left something out? Sometimes the more you stare at things, the more,
Right.
you don't see stuff, but, anything that you feel is confusing or doesn't make sense?
What's the starting date for the tracking?
The starting date for the next one?
Yeah, well, from now on. I mean, so just start putting your numbers in there, register for CSU and start your activity now. We're going to spend a few minutes here, another half an hour. So I'm going to give you some basic information here. But the key is to start the prospecting process, start putting the leads in the system as soon as possible. We'll delve more into this, obviously, in next session, and we'll go over the results and make sure everybody's, putting their numbers in. But it's up to you to again, register now, start putting your numbers in there. Those of you that have done it before, obviously know how to do it. It's so you want to get into the CSU right off the bat.
Hey, Mike and Steve, this is Delana. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Awesome. Quick question. I've got 2 CE classes. One's next week and then one's further down in like November. Can I just, those will be on Wednesday. Can I just attend the Tuesday class?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. That and yeah, we're flexible on that again. Cool. Yep. That's good. Again,
It is different. We are separating the content. We are trying to make one more cater to advanced agents that have different challenges than the newer agents who have, we don't want to bore the more seasoned people. We're trying to create more curriculum for them. But as far as just getting credit, and it would be actually not a bad thing to help some of the newer people, since you were such a rock star in our first one and in general.
Hey, just a rock star only with the buyers. I stink on the seller side, so you might see me in both.
You heard I heeded your advice and really started thinking about it. I think it was you that told me that what you do is you have a process of getting with a lender. I go, that's just brilliant. I mean, it's just what to. Brilliant for the sense of that's what we should be training agents to do. Sometimes it's kind of obvious in one sense, but it's brilliant in another sense. We added that as points now because I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah, I find that if I can get somebody over to a lender and they actually get their credit pulled, you have an idea on how serious they are about, home purchasing. If they don't make that step, then, they're not that serious right now.
Yeah, and so as you're saying, newer people maybe don't ask all the questions and all the right questions and everything, but you get them with a lender, and the lender, that's why you need a good lender that you just have that connection with. They'll give you, hey, look, yeah, Delane, I just talked with them. They, they're good to go. They're really looking in this area. I mean, if you've done this enough times, you get so much information from the conversation that the lender has with them, stuff that you didn't even get from them by you talking to them. So. Anyways, well.
Hey, Steve, do you want to turn the board over to me? I'm going to go over a few things here to get everybody off to a start.
Yeah, let's just answer these questions. I'll go ahead and, I think you can, do you select new free permanent account? Yeah, just, I think just do the free account. Just ask for a free account.
Right.
Setting up a website. Well, kind of. We don't have a concierge per se in-house, but we do a lot of training. We have websites with both Sync and KV Core, free IDX websites. They don't really do heavy branding. But we could have a class, maybe I'll have a class on that here in the future. I do a lot of, as Mike says, mostly my mastermind classes have to do with stuff I hear in the coaching program, some struggles they're having. I end up having a whole mastermind class. The only problem is usually the person that inspires me to do that class, I always look for them and they don't even show up for the class. But usually about 50 to 75 or other people do. But it always seems like that person I actually do that class for never shows up for it. But yeah, I might do a class on creating a branding website.
Yes.
In fact, I'm writing that down.
Yeah, that'd be good for the advanced group for sure too. And, anybody can join in on those special sessions.
If you do go to VPR Central and search, you're going to find that I do have a video on that doesn't show you how to, but it shows you all the actual options you have, because people have different philosophies or looking for different things from a branding website. And I've got probably like a 30-minute video that just kind of tells you all but just last thing, there are two types of websites and you don't mix them. I mean, people mix them, but it's a mistake. You have a lead gen website, which you really want to be almost no branding. If the real estate commission would allow it, you wouldn't put any reference to a company, but that's I see those out there, but they're illegal. But you want it to be low branding because it's kind of like a sales store. You go into a clothing store, those clothing stores you go in and it's like sharks, converge on you the minute you walk in, and you just really want to walk out. Well, that's what they do in lead gen. When you're in the internet leads, they don't want to talk to a salesperson. Your website almost simulates that you are Zillow. And so they have a feeling that somehow or another they might eventually meet a salesperson, but they just don't want to meet them up front. So if you have your big, I'm the greatest agent on earth, with your IDX, your lead gen website, you're blowing the lead gen opportunity. So that's why you almost need two websites. But I think the lead gen one first, and then the web, and most people do the opposite, but I think the lead gen is first, because I feel like you need to do everything in your power to get leads to stay in the business. That's it for me. I think I'll let you take it from here, Mike.
Okay, can everybody see old Earl Nightingale there? Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Anyway, and or goal. So that's what we're talking about. So set the goals. We talk about this here. Again, we're going to review homework. We're going to monitor goals each week. We have discussions on various topics here throughout, right? Again, we're going to review the homework next session. A lot of confusions will be cleared up, so we'll go over all that. And so again,
Hello, Mike.
yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, sir.
I am in somewhat of a difficult situation. I've been away taking care of family for the last 3 months.
Yes, sir.
Then just got home and tore up my knee. So I'm somewhat disabled. At this particular point, I've been away from real estate for quite a while. What do you suggest I do while I'm home? Is it just concentrate on the website?
In the
Or
interest
what
of
can I
time,
do?
in the interest of time, I appreciate you asking the question. In the interest of time, go ahead and give me a call. Let's talk about that separate, because I don't want to hold everybody up on that.
Okay.
I would definitely get involved with this program. And since you're at home, you can probably do a lot. We'll talk in more detail. I'll break it down for you for sure.
Okay.
Give me a call, extension 1110. If you call the main number, just call 1110, and I'll be here. I'll help you out.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Anyway, another quote from Bob Proctor: being a success is never an accident. Success comes about by design, determination, and positive action. So again, today we're going to cover a part of this. So this is session 2. I'm sorry, I got the wrong session up here. Let me go ahead back here. Let's
While you look for that, may I ask the question?
go ahead. Yes, please do.
Does this training include commercial, or is that the separate division?
Well, a lot of the stuff that we talk about applies to commercial, but as far as I would say more residential, but again, it's definitely when it comes down to prospecting and objection handling and how to handle certain situations, your database, all that stuff. I think yes, you'd find that it'll help you quite a bit. I think it would be good. I'm expecting we will be having Terry and some other folks involved, Terry Mercer and Amy, and we will be doing some on the advanced. I was planning on definitely having some commercial expertise in there and all that. So that would be something I would say would be something worthwhile. Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend it. Again, it's sales skills, it's marketing skills, it's negotiation skills, objection handling skills, working with buyers. Commercial definitely is a different type of marketplace as far as those principles, if you will, go. So that's where some extra expertise would be involved from Terry and those folks. Good question though. Appreciate that. All right, can you all see the session 1 here? Right? Again, setting
Yes.
goals, right? Building blocks, go over this here, mutual commitments. We kind of talked about that already. That's getting the home forces and the people around you involved. We're going to talk about how to get it going. What is the prospecting routine for success, tracking results. Okay, we covered a lot of that already. So this here, just to wake everybody up, session 1, success is the progressive realization. Right now, here, this is here. To me, this is the, if you will, 6 key foundational building blocks, pillars of success when it comes to real estate that you really have to master. And building inventory, having listings. Number 1, people buy houses. Houses sell houses. That's what they're attracted to. That's what they're attracted to in your marketing, your social media, any of that. If it's got good information about a house, if it's got to do with a house, if it's got pictures of a house, that's going to attract people to you. When you're prospecting, and like I say, planning, prospecting, those are 2 things you do every single day. You work your plan. Your attitude has to be great. And when you're on the phone, you're going to get rejection. When you're asking for appointments, you're going to get rejection. And you have to have a great attitude. And you have to have that servant leadership attitude. You have to be more interested in helping people in their situation than what you need help with. Okay, we may need inventory, but we have to approach it that we're here to help you sell your house in a difficult time for home sellers, right? Even though it's a good market, there's challenges. Time management is key. Time blocking, we talked about that. Handling objections, you've got to be good at getting people to understand things in a certain way. I always say when you're handling objections, 2 things have to happen. One of 2 things or a combination of both. You have to either change their way of thinking or get them to feel more comfortable with what you're asking them to do. So, how you handle that objection, again, is based on your relationship. So that's where the relationship and the trust is always first and foremost. Then you can handle. I would say Stephen Covey's words on handling objection, seek first to understand, then to be understood is really a way to work it, a win-win type philosophy. Buyer sales quicker. We're going to talk about how to work with buyers and not waste time. And this is a challenging market today when you're working with buyers. So we're going to talk about systems and processes that will help you get those buyers a home and a closing effectively. Some of the things we talked about today already with Wendell and so forth, a big part of that. We're going to talk about the most effective type of marketing campaigns and what's going to bring a consistent flow of good leads and business to you on a regular basis. And that effective marketing is key. So if you look at those areas, that's pretty much what it's going to take to be successful. And we're going to work on all those areas. Again, while this
Quick question. I'm sorry. I'm Michael. I'm kind of new to virtual properties, but I've been in business for a while. So the thing that said on my calendar was this a coaching program.
Correct.
Is it coaching or is it training or is it both? Is it for launch? Do you have different tiers of agents that you're going to be coaching?
Yeah, well, we have 2 tiers. The people that have already taken launch, or the coaching program already, they're going to be encouraged to go into the advanced program. Okay, it'll be based on this, and it is training, and it is coaching, it is accountability, it is sharing and masterminding on these meetings, sharing success stories. If you were here from the beginning, you'll see that we're going to have these peer groups, if you will, that will be doing some role playing together and practicing. We're going to have other events where we do that too, where we were talking about earlier, where we demonstrate our skills, if you will, get some coaching advice on that. Yeah, so
And what is the coaching philosophy? Are you coaching to the goals that you set for yourself?
yes,
Or do you, okay,
yeah. I don't know if you were on at the beginning, but we talked about.
I was not, unfortunately, so I apologize.
That's okay. Yeah. So it's personal goals, and part of that is setting those goals right off the bat. Good point. So again, what you're going to expect, what we do expect if you're going to get involved, is to be involved. Go ahead, sign up for CSU, set your goals, what your expectations are. If you need some help on figuring out those numbers, if you will, by all means, that's a good question to ask, not only on the class, but to call me personally, get some advice on that, or any of the brokers really, but we can help you set goals and all that too. So again, what we're really talking about is your production is listing appointments scheduled, right? Your results are appointments attending, listings signed, and all that. So your production is making calls and setting appointments, and then the results are getting those agencies signed. So again, we're going to keep you focused on that, right? So what you want to do here is, again, realize the right focus. Zig Ziglar, the elevator to success is out of order. You got to take it one step at a time. So you want to work, number one, listings are the way to the top. If it's to be, it's up to me. I'm in control. No one will take advantage of me anymore. You don't have to take the overpriced listing. You don't have to work with the buyer that's impossible, that won't take any advice from you, wants to use their lender, do it their way, all that stuff. You have to understand that you'll take the listing. You'll work with those customers if you choose. You want to choose for the right reasons. It's just as much about that as it is about them choosing you. So you got to have the right attitude. Goals, again, we talk about goals. They should be specific. They should be measurable, specific. In other words, how much money do you want to make? How much production do you have to make that kind of money? How many calls do I need to make? How many leads do I need? How many appointments do I need to get on? All those goals, you want to have those specifically set. When they're that specific, they're obviously measurable, and that's what CSU is going to help you do, or any good system where you're tracking your activity and your results. It should be reasonable, reasonably attainable. Maybe is that the word I'm looking for? In other words, in your mind, you really believe you're capable of doing it. Doesn't mean you've done it before. It should be a stretch, but not an impossibility, right? There should be rewards involved. There should be a goal that has a reward to it. Why do you want to make this kind of money? What are you going to do when you have success? How are you going to, enjoy your success? How are you going to reward yourself, maybe people around you? That's, I think, goal. I can't overemphasize having a visual reason that is something that's right there for you every day as a motivator. A picture of something, perhaps. Some of you may want to do certain things with the money that you make, vacations, trips, investments. I don't know, something that you're really focused on, that you can stay focused on, and then of course tracking the results. And that's why Steve has spent the money, put the CSU system together to help you with all that, right? You got to make a commitment, and that's step 3 here. Pledge, trust, perform. That's the definition. Those are the elements, if you will, of a commitment. Say what you do and do what you're going to, what you said you're going to do. Follow, be virtuous, be honest, be ethical, and make a pledge. So what is a pledge or a promise? Well, I promise I'm going to do something. So make an honest promise to yourself, right? If you promise somebody you're going to help them do something, you wouldn't let them down. So make that kind of promise to yourself. then believe that if you do what you say you're going to do, that you promise to do, have 100% belief that it's going to work. That's a real commitment. Then just go out and do it, right? Like I thought, like to talk about Michael Jordan, just do it, right? Right? He made the promise, the pledge, the quotes are out there. He made more shots at the end of the game to win or lose a game. He made that commitment that he would be the go-to guy to the team, to the coach, to the city, right? And I guarantee you, every time he took a shot, he believed when he went up for that shot that it was going in. He had every bit of faith and trust that it was going. He was going to make the shot. And he just did it. Don't worry about it. Just do it. You know, just pick up the phone, make the call. Different ways of building inventory, right? Advertising, marketing, farming areas, geo marketing, they call it nowadays, right? Working certain areas, certain neighborhoods, referrals, past customers. A lot of that stuff is passive because if you do the right thing, doing your constant contact, if you will, your relationship systems, your CRM, where you're staying in touch with past clients, you're asking for referrals on a regular basis, or you're getting referrals from past clients a lot of times passively. In fact, it's amazing. I hear stories all the time. I've experienced it myself, where I get a referral from out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. Maybe my client called me up and said, "Hey, I've got somebody for you," but I didn't really do a whole lot proactively to make it happen. It just happened passively. So you want to be a little more proactive with that. Your internet, social media, target marketing, certain age groups, perhaps, certain demographics, certain price ranges, door knocking. Ask Jeff about that. That works for him. Open houses, spheres of influence, expired listings for sale. It gets more proactive as you go down. You know, if you're calling certain neighborhoods, for instance, you may be having a hard time finding a house for your client, for a buyer. Well, you know what neighborhoods they like, you know what price range they like. You could be calling those people that don't have the houses on the market and asking them if they are interested in selling, because I have a buyer. They're nice folks. They got a little family. They're interested in the school system in your area, and the parks, and the location's good for their work. And they told me if I could find them a house in your neighborhood with at least 4 bedrooms and blah, 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 blah. You know, you got a reason to call. You got a dialogue. So again, calling around with just listed, calling around a house you're going to do an open house at, calling around after you've sold a house and you've got top dollar for it, and you got a reason to kind of, you know, a message, a reason to call. So all those things, door knocking, calling, all work. For sale by owners, expireds, they're telling the world they want to sell their house, so why not contact them? So again, the more conversations, the more reasons you have to have a conversation, responding to your marketing, your passive stuff. And, you know, what is a prospect? Somebody who's ready, willing, and able to sign a contract today. Okay, when the pandemic came out, we were getting information from Georgia Real Estate Commission as well as the Georgia Association of Realtors on what we needed to do as an essential business to protect the citizens and the public, right? So one of the requirements was, which I mean, it was like, you know, wow, no kidding. One of the requirements was if we were going to show a house to some people and we were going to call a listing or call somebody who's interested in selling their house and bring buyers over, that they had to be ready, willing, and able to buy now. Meaning they needed to buy a house. They wanted to buy a house, and they're qualified to buy a house, meaning financially they're qualified. Well, I think we owe it to any seller at any point that if we're going to waste anybody's time and energy showing a house to somebody, that we make sure that they're qualified. So all that conversation at the beginning with Wendell and Steve and how important that is, and it is a relationship. What Joe said, I think, is also critical. Again, when they start, when you're referring people to them for services, and they appreciate it, and that relationship is better because of that. That's the secret to success for sure. So build those relationships, do all that stuff, right? So again, why do you want to be more proactive? Well, it doesn't cost a whole lot to make a phone call. Sometimes it costs for the lead, but again, if you're smart, you'd be surprised how much you can do, right? Effective time management. When you're calling, you plan that out. I'm going to make calls. The other night I said, I'm going to make calls Monday night with the objective of getting at least 2 or 3 appointments. I just do it, right? It's like, okay, 5 o'clock, I'm on the phone calling, right? It's not reactive. You know, when you get a lead, all of a sudden, it's like you got to jump through hoops. It could be Sunday afternoon, you're out with the family, whatever. It puts you in control of your career. When you know that you can pick up the phone or do a certain activity that's going to guarantee you income, that's powerful. You know, I was in retail too for years. Direct sales, retail. Retail, you're hoping people show up. Okay, passive advertising, you're paying, you're counting on a certain amount of people to call. And if they call you, that's great because they're initiating it. But when you can be proactive, okay, and make those calls, approach people, engage people, you're going to do a lot more business and you're going to do business with the people you want to do business with because you're calling the people you want to call. You're seeing the people you want to see. You're asking the people for referrals from the people that you like to work with that have friends that are going to be similar, right? So again, first week, if you're building inventory, meaning setting appointments, meaning putting names in the database, you know, start early. Don't sell, just eliminate the ones that are not prospects. They're not all going to be prospects, but the ones that are, heck, you don't need a whole lot of really good, interested people over the next couple years to make a lot of money. You want to have good qualified information in there, people you want to deal with that would like to work with you. Target high turnover areas, right? Well, yeah, I mean, you can sell $1 million houses. I got nothing against that. Love to do it myself. But the reality is certain price ranges are selling a lot faster than others, right? So you want to have saleable listings and you want to be in areas that are popular priced where there is high demand and you can sell the properties for a good price, keep everybody happy, right? Remember when you're on the phone, if you're on the phone, it's not face to face. So your voice inflection has something to do with it. I have 2 philosophies when it comes to making calls proactively. I do leave a message and I text them. I'm professional. I tell them who I am. I don't hide behind the fact that I'm a real estate agent. I tell them right off the bat who I am on a voicemail. I leave them a message. I send them a text. And quite often I'll wait a minute or 2 and call back after I do both if I don't hear back, because a lot of times they answer the phone. So anyway, that, you know, would be my approach. And I always, some people, they say never leave a message. Some people say don't tell them you're a real estate agent until you ask certain questions. I follow the process. And the process is pretty simple. Identify your prospect, use their name. For instance, when I call for sale by owners, I am not paying for Red X. It's a great service, but I'm not paying for that anymore. Landstar, Land Voice, whatever. Not doing that, right? So I go to Zillow, pick out the listing I want to call for sale by owner, of course. Go to Realist, put the address in, get the name of the seller, get when they bought it, how much they financed recently, if anything refinanced, what Realist, FMLS service, the real AVM price is. So I have some data to go by. So I know their name. So it's ring, ring, ring. Hello, can I speak with Mr. Smith? Hey, Mr. Smith, Mike Collard here with Virtual Properties Realty. Hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. I'm already selling myself as a nice person, a respectful person, and asking permission. My first sale is asking permission to talk to them, right? 99% of the time they say, yeah, go ahead. Once in a while, somebody's a little bit rude. Once in a while, somebody says, you know, I am busy now. Can you call me back in half an hour? No problem, right? So anyway, you know, ask them in some shape or form if they're interested in selling, if the house is still available, would they be interested in selling? Reason, then give them your reason for calling, right? And schedule an appointment. For sale by owner, Ring, ring, ring. Hello, Mr. For Sale by Owner. Hi, hey, Mike Collins here with Virtual Properties Realty. How you doing tonight? Great. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. Yeah, quick question for you. I was looking through the For Sale by Owners in Zillow, and I saw your house was available. I was wondering if it's still available. Oh, you haven't sold yet. Well, I was going to ask you if I could come over, take a look at it, and see if I can help you get it sold. I got some time tonight around 6, or would 6:30 be more convenient for you or anybody else that would like to be there? So if he says no, I got to close 3 times. So I'm going to ask him why. Or whatever he comes back with, I'm going to be prepared to handle the objection. That's some of the training we're going to do, some of the coaching we're going to do. We're going to give you ideas on how to handle it, what to say, right? So what if they ask you, how much is my house worth? Or what do you think I can sell my house for? The other guy said he could get this, it didn't sell. What do you think I can sell it for? Well, I understand your enthusiasm and I appreciate the compliment that you'd be asking me about your house price and value, but it really would be unprofessional of me to state a price without seeing it first. So why don't we do this? Let's get together. While I'm there, I promise I'll have all the information that I need and I'll gather what you have and we'll figure out what the house is going to sell for. You got some time tonight or would tomorrow be more convenient? So again, different ways to handle things. We're going to go over all this stuff. Right? So again, we went over the CSU things. Please go online there. Please register for CSU and register for the program and start playing around with it. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to record your results. You'll be able to figure that out there and go back into the site again, the VPR coaching site. Take a look at those forms where you're setting goals on how many conversations, how many appointments, how many of this, that, and stuff you're going to plan on your goals and your objectives. When you're finished with those, we're going to set it up where you can email into the coaching site. Okay, that information will come out. We really want you to do that, next week when we get in there, set those goals, have those goals set in there. Again, on Tuesday or Wednesday, we're gonna have some more advanced stuff on the Wednesday class, but that doesn't mean if you can't make Tuesday, you can't come to the Wednesday. We're gonna be covering the same basic outline of information. We're gonna, again, be doing a lot of sharing and other things as far as that goes. So I think that's pretty much, those are some old track forms. So hold on a second here and let's see if we can get back here. One thing I would say to you, and again, this kind of sums it up here. Steve, a lot of other people in the company, we've got a lot of experience, a lot of brokerage experience that we really, it's really a benefit to have that. So, we're going to just put it all out there, training, coaching, advice, one-on-one. I fully expect that, over the next quarter here, the next 2 or 3 months leading up to the end of the year, we'll be, talking a lot individually, one-on-one. Again, we like you put you together in groups of 3 or 4 that can help each other also on certain things and practice with each other, role play with each other, critique each other on certain things that we're going to put together as far as conversations, dialogue, scripts, if you will, all that stuff. So again, programs here is to help you set personal goals, develop strategies and action plans to achieve them. So we're going to lay it out there for you the best we can. Really appreciate everybody getting on the call today. And let me just see if I can take a look and see if there's any other questions on the chat, and then we'll end today and get everybody enrolled. And let's see here, is there a recording of this? Yes. Yeah, you can rewatch this. It will be recorded and posted on the VPR coaching website under Learn. Give it a minute and we'll have all that. Yeah, what is there? Somebody said yes today at 1:30. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I got dragged into a phone call. Okay. Yeah, there is a commercial class at 1 o'clock today. That's right. The commercial resource group is, yeah, that's another great thing to attend. And that's once a month they have it, twice a month, I'm sure, for the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. All right. So, yeah, the commercial training, and again, Steve and I are working on that, talking to, putting some special classes together for commercial agents. Commercial Resource Group is one of their sessions every month is on education and training, if you will, in that field. The other one is a lot of networking and information too, but it's also networking. They even do CE classes for that. So we appreciate everybody. Thank you. Be safe. God bless everybody. And we'll see you all next week. Any other questions? Speak up. I'll stick on the line here for a few more minutes.
Mike,
Yes, ma'am.
hi, this is Edith Harvey. How are you? Thank you for your class. I am one of the new agents, and I'm in need of the coaching. Of course, I have no prospects or anything going on right now. So I think someone said that getting into CSU, it'll help me from the start. And also the coaching classes are Tuesday and Wednesday, right? So
Right.
you can attend either one, or do you need to attend both?
Well, if you're brand new or newer in the business, just getting started, probably Tuesday would be the best one. If you're not in the Jumpstart class, some of the people are in that too. But Tuesday or Wednesday's fine.
I was.
Say that again?
Yeah. So do you put this class over the Jumpstart? Because I did start that Jumpstart program as well. Those classes.
Yeah, well, a Jumpstart's good for sure, and it gives you the credit for your post license if you need that, the 25 hours. That is a continual class, and you can miss a class here and there and come back when they run that cycle again. That cycle will start again in January for the Jumpstart. So, and you can mix it up. You don't have to go to all. I think she has 12 classes in there, and you don't have to go to all 12 of them in a row. Yeah, so yeah, as long as you get for the 25 hours,
Okay.
yeah, within the first year. But I would recommend the Tuesday class if you can, because there's going to be more people that haven't taken this before, and the other folks in the one on Wednesday. Again, it's pretty much the same program, but we are going to have some more advanced things for those people there too. And the idea is for as many agents as we can encourage to do this, to do it at least a couple times. Get it down the first time, get more involved the second time. And so we're really kind of looking at stage 1, stage 2, if you will, of coaching. And if you've done it the first time, then jump into stage 2. All the classes are recorded and will be posted to the site. The key too is to go to that site and look at the various homework assignments and get, especially the first couple of weeks, get involved with that to get set up properly and get a lot of good mindset information. But then on a continuing basis, we'll be posting other homework videos to watch, training information. So that would be another hour maybe over the course of a week to commit. So again, time blocking, time management wise, doing the right thing to continue to grow your career. It's good to put aside 2 or 3 hours a week at least on developing yourself, working on your skill set. So that's the philosophy that has worked for many, and the routine, if you will, that has worked for many. So that's what we're trying to encourage.
Steve. Mike, this is Victoria with
Hey,
VPR.net. I want to thank you for your class. It's terrific. My question is, I signed up for the CSU.
Okay.
But how long does it take for you to get your actual login?
I'm not 100% sure. It shouldn't be long though, because between Albert will be working on that. Steve's got Albert working on that. So yeah, it shouldn't be more than 24 hours if you.
Okay. Because I signed up and I didn't get an email. I signed up a second time and I still didn't get an email. So I'll just have to wait and see.
Send an email to Albert at vpradmin.com. If that happens, most of the time what we found is that it has been sent, but it goes into a spam folder.
Send an email to Albert what?
Yeah, if you sign up for CSU and in a couple days, you don't get, because I don't think it's automated a link. I think he has to
Yeah.
manually create the account.
I think you're right, Steve.
And then he'll email that back. But Albert at vpradmin.com, if you sign up for it and you don't get, your login credentials and all that, that welcome email.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Mike,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Gwen Martin.
Thank
I'm new and I would like to take the launch program, and that's the one on Tuesday morning, right?
Correct.
Okay, will we be sent a link on Tuesday morning to be able to join that class?
What's going to happen? Yes, there'll be a link. Actually, if you go to the VPR Central, go to our school page, okay, the calendar, the company calendar, where all the classes are.
Uh-huh.
The class will be there, and the link is going to be there if you click on that event. Also, we send out an email reminder on Monday morning with all the classes for the week. And that link is going to be there. I would save the link if you can, if you want to save that link too.
Okay, thank you.
It's posted and sent out every week, so you're good. All right.
Hey, Mike, this is Tara Houston. How are you?
Hey, Tori, how are you?
I'm great. I am new to VPR, and so I'm still trying to learn. I watched all the videos from Steve, so Steve, don't get alarmed. I watched the videos on KV Core and Sync, but this is so new for me. So will the coaching some kind of way help us incorporate this or no? Those systems, because I know there's a lot of different tools that VPR offers for their agents. So as we're doing the training of the coaching, will some of that be incorporated so it's like we can utilize those services?
Right. Good question. And actually, we don't have specific sync training or KV Core training in the coaching. It's obviously a key element, some kind of CRM system as far as your relationship and all that goes. And Steve might want to jump in on this, but there is training.
So now probably this one's designed on really getting your goals and trying to stay focused on making money. But that is important. Technologies is one of the important things to one of the value things of our company. But every technology piece they're all kind of can be complicated, and most of them take the responsibility. That's one of the things I look for when I'm bringing on a technology piece. Do you have training? Because, we have probably 20 or 30 technology pieces. Most of us have some knowledge or good knowledge of all of them, but we're not really so knowledgeable that we can be the trainer. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to be on, on all these technology pieces. I actually do some training, but I'm not the guru of like KV Core and Sync. There's probably as much I don't know as I do know. If it's, so both the programs have training programs. You just got to go in and log in, and then there's a training portal, and you've got to go through the training step by step.
Right. Yeah, Steve, also Sync sends out weekly just about invites to training classes they have. So once you're enrolled in Sync, you'll be getting an email from them on training, and they have a support line and all that, as KV Core does. Steve has put a lot of the tutorials on Sync and KV Core. They're stored here under our tech guide, and you hopefully get some information there. But we're not going to be actually taking time in the coaching program to go into training specifically on Sync.
Okay.
Well,
okay, and that's fine. I guess I'll keep watching. Like I said, I did watch some of the videos. It was just trying to determine, should I go ahead and do the KV Core, and I just wait and do Sync first and get all acclimated with that, and then add KV Core later if I feel the need.
You don't see my screen right now? I'm actually logged into KV Core. This is the, as soon as you log in, this is what you're going to see. And right down here at the bottom is their learning portal. And so you go here, and they want you to methodically go, step by step through the training. on it. So, so that's basically,
Yeah.
you know, you select this category and then you just kind of go step by step through it. And,
Okay.
it is, you know, mostly what we deal with, agents get bored, you know, they don't, it's boring to them to you know, to watch videos and learn, and really watching the video really won't cut it. You almost have to pause it. You have to really be on your highest alert level. Then you have to do something. And then only after you've done it, do you actually learn it. If you just watch a video, you won't know any more than when you know, before you watch the video, because it just goes through one ear or one, you know, right through your head. So you got to actually do, watch a video that's and focus on one aspect of it, then go and play around with it. That's how you learn technology. It is the challenge. It is both the blessing and the curse. It is the competitive advantage, but it's a challenge. And some people spend too much time playing with their gadgets. Quite honestly, there's a harmony there as to how much how much time that you spend. You got to choose your technologies, but the KV Core and Sync are the, you know, I think that's the ground level, because that's where you put all your that's how you build your database. Remember, we're talking building your database. They've got drip campaigns in there. You can drip both letters. You know, it's got IDX built into it, so it's going to be sending them, you know, with them being like your prospects. It could be someone you're working with now, or it could be some prospect you hope to do business with in the future. But it'll start dripping them properties that, you know, that you've identified that they might be interested in the future. And then it's almost like a fishing bobber. You know, if you've ever gone fishing, put a little bobber out there. When that bobber starts to go down, then, you know, you got a fish on the line. And that's what this is supposed to kind of simulate, is that it'll notify you high, you know, when there's unusual activity pops up. So anyways, it's but there's a lot to it. The problem with technologies is agents ask for two things. They want simple, and until they get it, and then simple, they can master it real quickly. And then once you've mastered it, then you realize all the things it doesn't have. And then I've had agents like 2 months ago, I would just want simple. Okay, here's simple. And then about 2 months later, they're like, I want more features. I said, I thought you want simple. You know, well, I wanted simple. Now I understand it. Now I want more features. So if you give people features up front, they're going to say it's too confusing. I can't get my arms around it. It's just too much. So it, you know, it's tough. But there are simpler CRMs than Sync and KV Core. Those are very feature rich, very feature rich. Sync street price $1,000 a month if you go try to get a platform similar to what we're giving you. And the discounts we're giving, $15 a month for KV Core is very substantially cut.
Good
Hey,
point.
Steve.
Good. Yeah. Good question. Appreciate you asking. I was going to say, Steve summed it all up. You just like the training classes, the coaching classes, you've got to use this stuff. We're going to teach stuff. We're going to identify things, techniques, conversations, dialogues, scripts. If you don't use it, it won't do you any good. And the way that you learn it and become an expert at it is using it over and over, just like he said on the.
You just brought up a really good example, because, you know, scripts like how to overcome objections, how to prospect really effectively. You're not just going and picking up the phone and winging it, whatever comes off the top of your head. You actually take the time to learn the scripts, and then most people won't do it, quite honestly. I mean, everybody wants to be able to separate themselves from the pack, because that's what you got to do in this industry when 87% of people who try to get in this business are failing. So you've got to put yourself at the top of the pack, and it's that simple thing. Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And it isn't easy. I will be straight up with you. It isn't easy. It's tough for me a lot of times to do this stuff, but some people are doing it. So you just have to decide if you're going to be one of those that wants to do it. I'm not lecturing you, because I know you're here and you're doing it, but I'm just speaking out loud. Definitely not to you. But that's kind of what it comes down to.
It's interesting you say that, and there's kind of a process that goes through to really become really good at this and get the benefits that you're really more benefits. You're going to get benefits right off the bat, but you get more and more. And it's kind of, think about this. First is get the process down, then the dialogue, then you'll become natural. That's where you get your skill and your techniques involved. So in other words, follow the right process, practice it over and over so that it becomes natural eventually. So the third, the last stage is becoming a natural, but it starts off with the right process and the right dialogue done over and over.
It's the same dialogue as it is in technology. Anytime you do something, whether swinging a golf swing or playing the piano or the guitar, everything that you do, at first, it's very awkward and you kind of look clumsy and foolish. And it's really hard to do a lot of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, those are the ones who push through and do it. But, if you find that there are simpler CRMs out there, ultimately you just want a place, nothing else, just a place to dump all your names and numbers to keep up with them. So when you contact them, you can keep notes. The Sync and KV Core does so many more. Somebody was putting something about leads, and I hope they're still here. But those two platforms are lead generation. You can get more leads than you can. I've got a guy out in Woodstock, and maybe we should have him speak to one of the coaching programs. Sure. Very motivating to hear a fellow agent out there that took our free Sync program and gets 100+ leads every single month. I've seen him get 300 leads in a month, and he does it for an average of $2 a lead. He doesn't even call. Now, when I say this, do not do what he says. It's hard to say. He's kind of a rock star, but he's doing something I've never even heard of. He doesn't even call the leads. He's getting so many leads so cheap that he works some. I will say this: he wanted to teach a class to our agents and for $10,000. I actually thought, hey, I think that's high, but I think that's worth it because he is converting 3 buyers a month on average without even calling until they're hot, until they almost ask him to call them. That's kind of what it ends up being. They call it, hey, will you call me? I want you to be my agent. So he has a process of bringing in, using the leads. Now that, again, I'm just trying to tell you how powerful with the tools you actually have that other people are doing it. So you can't say it can't be done. This guy's getting so many leads, he doesn't even call them. They call him. What you should be doing is getting about a tenth of the leads or a fifth of the leads and just calling them. Like we said, it's magically internet leads on average convert 1 out of 50 into a sale. That's what Tom Ferry's been saying just on talking to people. So there's your talking to people right there. So if you figure out how, and it's not hard to do, quite honestly, on how to use these tools and get leads. That's one of the things we're going to go over in the coaching program is that you always have people to call. So don't ever say I don't have anyone to call. You always have people to call.
Hey, Steve and Mike, can I say one thing about the CRMs?
Sure, absolutely.
I would suggest that pick your pick one CRM and plan on sticking with it instead of starting out with Sync and then thinking that you might want to go over to KV Core. Because one thing I did learn is that once your leads start seeing your branded information come in a certain particular style, form, and then all of a sudden you switch up, okay, you have the potential of losing a good number of people, okay? And because the drip campaigns and everything are different from system to system. Okay, so I would suggest just doing your research and choosing whichever one's going to work best for you and make sure that you use it and just stick with that one. Okay, and at least for a few years, not figuring that you're going to start with one and then 6 months later switch to another one, because it's a lot harder to switch than what you think it is.
I didn't say it at that time when that was my opinion too, but I hate to see someone spend money that they're not really, don't have the will, or sometimes it's even the personality, because some people, I've got 36 employees, all of them are different, quite honestly, and I would hate to see you waste money, but I wouldn't want to tell you not to do it because it's so vital. but I agree with her because then you'll get to learn sync, and don't think it just, you jump from sync to KV core and it's like hopping off one bike to another. They have a lot, they're really almost the same things, but the learning curve is going to be there again. In my mind is I'm thinking just, if you could unfiltered just coming out, it's going to be hard enough for you to learn one system. And what are the odds of her jumping off of learning one first and then jumping off that and learning another? I think that in my mind, I want you to succeed. And I feel like the odds of you succeeding are really diminished. That's what I was thinking, Delana, when you were saying, but I like what you said, had a lot of weight as well. I mean, that was really good stuff. So yeah, to make a decision, it's going to be tough. This is my point. It's going to be tough. It's Jim Rohn says, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. And what it means by that is you want it to be hard in a strange way. See, everyone said, oh, I just want it to be easy. Well, it's going to be easy, everybody in the world is going to be doing it. And then you have no competitive advantage. So everybody wants to, I want the real estate business to be easy. Well, I mean, be thankful for all these bad agents out there that really make it, when you are a problem solver, you always want to be better than than the average. I don't want to be better than everybody. That's the wrong way of putting it. You know what I mean by that? You want to look at what other people are doing and then pull yourself to the top. It's the only way you're going to really, reach that high level. So, but I won't lie to you, it is a challenge. These technology people, they don't run themselves. There's no, I sometimes use in a lot of classes, one of my favorite movies, The Matrix, where they put computer chips and he puts it in the back of his head. When he learns he knows how to, he's now a helicopter pilot, or he puts it in the back of his head and he goes, oh, I know Kung Fu. There is no, I know Kung Fu chip to put in the back of your head. There's no, I master sync or KV core to put in your back of your head, or I know everything to say, what to say, when to say. It's all hard work that gets that stuff. And actually that's what you want, really, in a strange way.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more, Steve. Like you said, the successful people do the things the unsuccessful people won't do. And that eliminates about 85 to 90% of the people out there. As soon as they run into an obstacle, they give up, or they use it as an excuse, or they change in midstream. And the people that hang in there and work through those difficult times, I don't care what the profession is or what the struggle is in life, you gotta face it head on and know that if you do and you make the effort, it's going to work out. That's why I say the commitment is big. And the biggest part of the commitment is believing in yourself and what you're being asked or told or taught or encouraged or guided to do. And some of us have egos that get in the way. Some of us are procrastinators, perhaps have other problems when it comes to doing the right thing. But if you put the effort in real estate, like Steve said, 9 out of 10 ain't going to do it. So that leaves a great opportunity for us. And once you get this stuff down, it becomes easier and easier. And you end up, teaching other people how to do it, encouraging other people. And it's all good. So make the effort. That's the key. All right, guys, I think we can leave the meeting now. We're over a little time, and we'll see everybody either Tuesday or Wednesday next week. And start putting your leads in there in the CSU, making note of them. One question was somebody's entered in over 400 leads into their CRM system. I wanted to know if they have to put the name of each lead in CSU. I believe there's a way you can count.
No, it doesn't do leads. That's kind of somewhat of an honor system. Right. Now, I will say this, if you put 400 leads in there, you better at least have 400 calls. Because in our mind, that for every lead that you put in there, if you're not calling them, that's actually on the sheet that you'll get later on. There is a qualifier that will count every lead as far as the points go. But then you don't put them in there without calling. And Mike will tell you the script just to call to check in. Hey, I'm just calling to say, hey, talk a little bit about non-real estate. And then, oh, by the way, yeah, you wouldn't happen to be buying or selling or know anyone who might be buying or selling now in the future. He's got other ways of that's the most basic way of doing it. And that's fine. But he's got even more clever ways than that to
That's
to
right.
talk to people.
And we're gonna jump into that stuff real heavy next week. We're gonna jump right on what those conversations are about, how to conduct the right conversations.
But
So,
you don't have to put the, you know, you don't give, we don't want, you don't have to put those names in the CISO at all. The only time you would put them in is once they become kind of a transaction.
Right.
And we'll explain what more detail what a transaction is, but it's kind of, once they start to become a client or customer or like a listing presentation. That is, by the way, that is a transactional management platform. It's a really good thing for agents in other ways, but let's make sure we got all the questions.
And all of session one work should be completed by next Tuesday, correct?
Yes, do your homework by next Tuesday. That's
Okay,
correct.
session one. Okay, and one more thing, those forms that we had to fill out, are we just printing that off for our personal record to have? Because I don't see where we can send it to you all.
Yep. I'm gonna be answering, or you want to answer?
Yeah, well, I think we have a email address set up for VPR coaching, but I'd have to
I
check.
think I'm gonna add it. It was one of the things I wanted to get to, Mike. I just want to add a separate one, and you'll have the, you know, you and Albert will keep it'll just be us three. We'll have access to that thing, but it's just gonna be, I'm just gonna get a separate Gmail account.
Perfect.
Where I think it'd be easier rather than dealing with the company portal.
Right, and we'll
Let us know where to send these sheets to then, right?
We will, yes, we will.
Yeah, hang on, yeah, so we'll send that out to where to send them to, and then we'll check off if we got them and stuff, and your coach will call you up if you don't have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Late at night, in the middle
Oh,
of.
one more thing. I'm with virtualproperties.net and I'm trying to do .com. Does that matter right now?
No.
Okay.
Does not matter.
That's a good thing. Okay. Anything else? I think we're good. There's a document that compares sync. Yeah. Not sure what Sheila's asking. Is there a document that compares, or you mean a service, another CRM system? You mean?
Mike, what I was asking about is the features for each to decide which one would be best for me.
Oh, you're talking about for Sync and KV Core?
Yeah.
All right, so to me, it's kind of, I mean, those are really, both of them are like, it's like a Rolls Royce and what's another word?
Lamborghini.
Or I think to be more apples to apples, was it like a Bentley or something like
Bentley,
that?
yeah, Bentley or Rolls. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're really, but so if you had unlimited money, I would go Sync and I would spend $1,000 a month. There's 3 or 4 things you would get. And if you just really want to take it to the next level, I would spend $1,000. I'm not suggesting, I'm trying to lay out, just so follow with me. That would be if you had unlimited money, you just were swimming in money. But if you had a little bit of cash to invest, I would go KV Core. I mean, and that's only $15 a month. And I don't think that's going to break too many people's bank. Over Sync, the one that we give. Again, and the reason is that they have more options that, it's more, that little bit extra money, the control you have, the customization that you have, and the flexibility you have, it to me is worth it. It's such an important tool. I wouldn't skimp on that one, but we wanted to make sure everyone has a CRM and that everyone has an IDX lead gen website and everything like that. That's why we pay to have that version of Sync to where you have all those things. But to me, if you want to get, I would go the KV Core. I think that would be the better one. But you got to, if you do that, you got to commit yourself to really taking on that training. And we do a little bit here, but we just kind of, our training's more not to be the be all end all trainer. Like we're all that great at it, but we can make you aware of some things, open your eyes to some things, and kind of maybe block some things for you. But you're not going to become an expert by any training that we have internally.
And to
Thanks.
the young lady who asked that question, this is Delane again, and just FYI, I came from a software testing field for about 24 years. So one thing that you might want to think of is signing up for both for about, at least 1 month and putting some dummy test data in there just to see how each one would perform. That way you get to check out, any of the
Delana,
drip campaigns, what you're gonna see,
Delana,
because one might be, more your style. I don't know.
Delana, we don't want them to do that. We really don't even allow that, because that's not, that's not the way. First of all, we don't want them trying to learn too at the same time. They're not going to do that. You come from a software background, that makes sense to you, but basically what I was saying before, most people are going to struggle just to kind of get a little bit of a hold on one. What most agents do that don't have a technological background, they honestly, most of them never get around to it. So there must be like some wall in front of them, and they just never do it. They're not going to do two. I can tell you that would be like a very rarity. Secondly,
Gotcha.
We don't want to create two accounts and do that. We kind of want people to kind of think it through. That's why I'm trying to guide them in the process I just did to try to make one. I mean, can you bounce back and forth? Yeah, but we don't want to give two accounts. We really actually forbid that we're going to give you two accounts at one time. And again, there's other reasons besides, that it's just not going to, that just won't work with 99.9% of the agents out there.
So strike that suggestion.
Okay, that's all right, Delana. That's all right.
I have one.
Go ahead.
I have one more question.
All right, Sheila.
So I was leaning towards more the KV Core because I have experience with using CRMs and I did want a little more. But my question is, my husband and I are a real estate team and I can't find any information for the cost for a team account for KV Core.
Well, there's not really a team account. Y'all could kind of team up on that one platform. There are agents that do that. You could get two separate ones. That's fine. A team account though is $399 a month. So, that would give you the ability to have 15 seats. Of course, each seat would be $15 a month. So there's no partnership platform, husband-wife mode. You either share one, which I see people doing it. I think it'll work, or you each get a separate one. That's generally how that's done.
Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheila. All right. All righty. So you got our numbers. You know how to get a hold of us. I don't see any other questions that are current there. So let's call it a day and get back to work, get on the phone, make some calls, get an appointment or two, and we'll talk on Tuesday or Wednesday for sure. Look forward to seeing everybody again. And don't be a stranger. You got my number, 1110 extension.
Let me just say one more thing before we go. I see a question. Is there a document that compares? There's really the difference between Sync and KV Core are more subtleties. I'm trying to give you, if it's really an economic thing, if $180 a year or $15 a month is going to put you in financial, then stay with Sync and make a transaction or so, and then but if you have a little bit extra money, there's just more customization, configuration options open that I think you'll be more, I think that it would be worth it. And I can say that with almost everybody that's out there. But if we do have two separate, we have website, go to VPR Central, go to technologies, and we have entire pages on Sync and KV Core. A lot of videos and a lot, you can see a lot of stuff. And you can bounce back and forth and see if you notice any differences. But they're basically they're direct competitors that do the same thing. But of course, both of them are trying to, it's like two agents, that charge the same commission, but two agents aren't going to be the same. But they try to do little this and that differentiates themselves, but they're direct competitors. I brought on, we had free sync. I brought on KV Core, an extra money to the company as an extra option because it gave our agents more flexibility. One of the things that Sync has done now is I used to not be able to give easy, I'll say effortless leads. I use a term called effortless leads, meaning you put a credit card in and then the leads start flowing. That's what I call effortless leads. Sync used to not have that option with Sync, but they opened it up. I still think that KV Core gives you more opportunities for leads, and it just give you more opportunities and options. And if you're really gonna, in my mind, if you're really gonna do it, pay a little extra money for KV Core, you'll be happier. But if you're not going to do it, then go to Sync. That's kind of a funny thing to say. Sync is a great product. Don't get me wrong. It's actually a miracle that we can give what we give, and give it to you for free. But that's about as simple as I can make it. If $180 a year is not going to break the bank, that extra is going to be well worth it.
Sounds great. All right. Well, if anybody's on the phone from the last program, we got those great prizes coming out, the cash prizes for everybody else. Is
Talk to
getting
Sharon today about getting those things.
Yep, we'll get that squared away. And again, let's have a great fall, great fourth quarter, and keep it moving. We're just doing great. The company's doing great overall. So get the listings. That's the key. We keep bringing in listings this fall. We're going to be in a great position for next year.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Steve. I think you guys are awesome. And what you're doing for us as agents, I can't believe everyone's not signed up for it.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you, Yvonne. We appreciate you. You're being such a great leader and bringing such good energy.
Thank you. That's my goal.
Doing great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.